Hello everybody and welcome to the WardiTV Spring Championships. Hello. How are we doing? Hope everyone's doing well as we are getting ready to start off the Spring Championships here today. Obviously lots of StarCraft here to get through all of that. Let me just reset a couple things here, guys. I got some things to sort quickly here and there. And we'll kick this off into play. I love the freaking Twitch has apparently set my sub goal to 1,700 subs. Twitch is like, you're not doing enough. Apparently I've got an auto mode and usually just pushes up to the next 100. But apparently right now Twitch thinks I should have 1,700 subs, guys. So there you go. Twitch is telling you guys what's what, I guess. Exciting day. Start of the Spring Championship. And the start of the Spring Championship also comes along with something new for us, which is going to be the launch of the WardiTV merch store. The new merch store is here. It is now available. If you would like to check it out, you can do so via the exclamation mark merch command in Twitch and YouTube. All of the new WardiTV merch stuff, which is like this hoodie and some t-shirts with the infested logo designs on and a mug, are currently available. We'll be adding some other stuff. Ellie barking. We'll be adding some other stuff kind of as we go later down the line, but this is going to be the initial like Spring Championship launch. And yeah, everything directly goes into the tournament prize pools, specifically for the 2026 series. So all profits go in toward that. The fun part as well is that if you guys want to, you can even gift items out through Twitch. So if you're feeling generous and you want to give some love to the chat, you can basically go and buy a product and select gift to the Twitch chat, and it will create a giveaway in the chat, and then people will be able to enter that giveaway, and people will be able to immediately kind of, claim it afterwards and stuff like that too. So if you're just feeling generous and you want to gift out a WardiTV merch item, if you want to give out a WardiTV mug or something, you can do that too. And the profits will still go into the, like I say, the 2026 series. We're not looking to make millions off of the merch store, believe it or not. This is very much so a case of just we have the opportunity to put some merch out there. Some people like to buy merch, right? So we're going to make that available. And I always say, if you show up at a home story cup or something, you have WardiTV merch on, I will buy you a drink. So isn't that always a good deal? Anyways, we are ready enough for some PvP to start the day. The WardiTV Spring Championship begins with ShoWTimE versus Geralt. Just need Geralt to race switch. We should be able to get this going. Yeah, this is going to be Group A of the Spring Championship. In case you're not familiar with the Spring Championship format this year, let me just bring this on the screen for you guys, and I'll show you guys exactly what's going on. So, we're going to be starting today in Group Stage 1. Now, there's groups up here. We'll talk about those in a moment. But first of all, Group Stage 1 is going to be made up of 3 groups. The top 2 from each group will advance to Group Stage 2. So that's going to be Geralt, ShoWTimE, Nikoract, and Rogue in Group A today. And then Group B, Christiana, Mana, Cura, and Trigger. And Group C, Skilla, Strange, Lambo, and Ryung. So top 2 of each of these advance to Group Stage 2. So 6 players will advance to Group Stage 2 from here. We also have the seeding groups, which is going to be Hero, Zaun, Bjorn, and Classic, as well as Shin, Solar, Max, Pax, and Clem. First place of each of the seeding groups drops into the upper bracket semifinals of the playoffs already. The second place gets straight into the first round of the playoffs, and then the third and fourth place finishers will drop into Group Stage 2 as well. And the final 2 Group Stage 2 slots that then still remain to be claimed are already actually claimed by Shameless and Percival. They had more WardiTV points than anyone else. Well, not than the guys in the seeding groups, but they were the in-between guys. They were next guys along, so they get to start in Group Stage 2 already, bypassing that Group Stage 1 element for them. So it might seem a little complicated, a little in-depth and everything, but the reality of it, honestly, is just that it's very much so a case of this is a bunch of... yeah, this is plain and simple, honestly, just a bunch of different groups that kind of lead into the next stage of the tournament. Obviously, like I say, it's all based on the point systems and how players have qualified and so on. So yes, it might be a little confusing, but generally speaking, you watch the groups and you do well in the groups, you advance to the next stage. And obviously, like I say, today is very simple. You advance to Group Stage 2 if you make top 2 in this round robin group, or you do not make top 2, and if you don't make top 2, you're out of the tournament. So this is do or die. 2 of the 4 players will advance to Group Stage 2, 2 of the 4 players will fall here in Group Stage 1, and we'll just be straight up eliminated. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, so that's everything that's going on today. Hope everyone is having fun. No Cure today, nope, but Cure will be here in Group B, which is tomorrow, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. I have to keep reminding myself of exactly when all these tournaments are and stuff. But yeah, there should be some Cure games tomorrow for you guys if you are a Cure fan, so you can look forward to that. As in the top right, we have Geralt to start off the day with some PvP. He's up against the blue Protoss in the bottom left-hand side, ShoWTimE. That's going to be our starting point to begin with on the first match of the first day of the Spring Championship 2026. Obviously, a long way to go. Hoping that this is going to be a really good one. Hoping we're going to get a lot of good games, a lot of good viewership. Obviously, our Spring Championship, one of the major events as part of the WardiTV 2026 series. Again, just to put that into perspective a little bit. So basically, the 2026 series is our overall year-long kind of system where players can qualify into bigger and better events by performing well in the other events. The Monday Cups obviously are the core baseline of this, and then obviously you've got the championships, the Winter Championship earlier this year won by Hero, and now the Spring Championship later this year, Summer Championship, and some other things down the line as well. All of this helps players to qualify into the WardiTV 2026 Championship, which happens in December, and that will be featuring all the best players from WardiTV events throughout the year. And players like Hero, because he won the Winter Championship, he's already qualified into that, and he'll be able to start in, like, kind of similar to this event where we've got the seeding groups. He'll start in, like, the seeding groups or so, which means he has a chance to start really deep in the playoff bracket. In fact, he'll be guaranteed playoffs just by being in the seeding groups, is the nice part about the end-of-year championship. So, yeah, like I say, the Spring Championship is our new kind of pathway now to players earning a bunch of points, getting themselves qualified for the end-of-year championship, as well as the chance to secure themselves better positions in that championship as well. Your ranking in the point system and everything will have a big impact on where you begin in that end-of-year championship and will allow you to skip some of those stages of the tournament. If you look back to our 2025 championship, you'll see a lot of good examples of exactly how that works, of just sort of, you know, again, kind of moving through and kind of seeing like some players get to start deeper in the bracket than others and everything else. That's kind of what's going on there as this couple of Stalkers get to business. Pylon taking some damage. Geralt's going to be the one to apply some early pressure and to kick this game off, and we get this on the way already. So some early pressure coming through. Just going to see the couple of depths, the Oracle and the Warp Gate coming up as well. So bringing a lot of that into play just for the moment. These adepts are just going to continue back over and just going to be seeing ShoWTimE has been able to defend so far. Gerald's going to take the expansion lead by a few seconds. ShoWTimE also has the Stargate, getting into an Oracle, something he's been really fond of lately, actually. He's been playing a lot of just fast Oracle plays in PvP. He's been doing a lot of this, and he's actually going to be across the map, so this is going to get awkward here, because Geralt is still here with these 4 Stalkers. Force Field, oh, it's just in time! Wow, that sentry could not have come any more clutch. Now, it's only going to buy you a little bit of time. What is good news is obviously that these units are here. You're actually going to be able to get rid of a Stalker before the others get in. I like the probe pull, because realistically, you're likely going to do damage on the other side. All the Stalkers are over here. On the other side of the map, the Oracle commits in. Okay, Stasis Ward actually catches quite a few probes. The Adepts are just going to hit the gates. Okay, in fairness, the full wall-off is helping a lot. Maybe we'd be better off just sitting on the low ground, and if we sit on the low ground, maybe we could just pick away at the Nexus here instead. I guess that's a lot of HP to pick away at with Adepts. I mean, you're going to keep threatening the idea of that gateway that's built, and if you can force that gateway to finish, that would be so good for you. Because, yeah, that gateway finishing would obviously really kind of net you just straight up a gateway that then blocks that your opponent would have to kill eventually. Yeah, he's going to rebuild it here. I mean, just in general, he's keeping a lot of resources invested on that. ShoWTimE establishing his own economy behind this, and not too surprised to see him going into the robotics facility. By going into the robos, the next stage of this, you obviously give yourself access to the immortal production. That's going to really kind of stabilize and sturdy up your army in general. It's just going to be going for that. As the sentry and the Stalker will keep warping in. The couple of Stalkers and the sentry going to keep putting some pressure on too. Those few Stalkers still hitting, those Adepts still taking just a tad bit of extra damage. Again, Robo Facility going to finish up. That Immortal is producing on out, so we continue to bring that straight into play here and see what we can do for the next few moments. Blink is about halfway done. The couple of probes still building up. We've got the 2 probes and the Immortal coming in on the other side from ShoWTimE as well, so continue to get all of that on the way for now. Get this up and running. Well, Oracle can decide what it would like to do, and so there's not much just yet. Still got that Forge, still got the couple of probies coming around. The Immortal is still producing as well. Ooh, let's take a moment. Ooh, Stalker's actually going to get some shots on the Oracle for a few moments. The Oracle gets pushed away off to the side. Nothing too crazy as it gets away for the moment. Obviously, Oracle being kept alive is nice. Map control, the ability to stasis. There's a lot of use from, you know, utilizing that Oracle and making the most of it, so we generally like to see that. And as you see, the couple of Stalkers just going to be there. Hallucination taking some more damage for the moment. Well, hallucination goes down. Just going to see another Stalker getting warped in. The Nexus, the probes, and the +1 attack upgrade continue to come through as well. Continue to bring that online. And again, a couple extra Stalkers coming about also. I'm just going to see our Nexus, our probe, and our +1 attack upgrade coming through too. So a lot of little bits and pieces being established right now and being brought fully into play, getting operational. This is going to be Geralt coming back down the map. Obviously, he has the blink, so he has the mobility to be moving around the map here. He is correct to be the guy who's, like I say, out here and making things happen and actually getting stuff done. As those few Stalkers are going to go blinking upwards. And a couple of the Adepts still gathering together as well. Just seeing the Nexus, just seeing the gates continue to come into place for a few more moments. So all those Stalkers still gathering. This Oracle is flapping about in the skies, just obviously sitting there. Could stasis ward. If you feel like the pressure's starting to arrive, you can then bring that Oracle in to drop a stasis into place. The Immortals obviously very good against those Stalkers right now. Their numbers are decent. 3 Immortals is very good. I love the stasis already in front of the 3rd. Just means if you try and blink in to get an Immortal, it's just going to be terrible for you. Like, if you blink into a stasis ward, not only are you trapped, but then your, blink is on cooldown, and it stays on cooldown in that stasis. So you have no getaway. And that gives, a lot of time for ShoWTimE to set up this around and basically get a bunch of those kills on those units. Because then you can basically deny the range advantage that the Stalkers try and create for themselves all the time. So yeah, you can put that into a very good place very quickly. And just see Resonating Glaives coming up from ShoWTimE. Very, very popular lately to go into this Resonating Glaives. We've seen Glaives be such a common go-to. You build up that Glaives, you get that online. The Glaives can, again, it can just do so freaking much for you as a Protoss player in this matchup. An Immortal Adept is just a super powerful composition. The Immortals do the shredding. The Adepts clean out any Zealots and other Adepts, and then the Immortals just deal with Stalkers, and the Adepts are super tanky as well, so against Stalkers, the Adepts are, typically just sat there soaking up loads of damage. So it makes for an extremely powerful push, and like I say, the last few months, we have really seen this Glaives take off. Like, pushing with the Glaives was always a bit of a thing, but it has really taken off recently, like I say. It has really popped off as a popularity thing. And we're seeing it more than ever before, so really showcasing the power of that and just showing just how good that can be. There's a couple of mortals, the Adepts, Stalker, and the Sentry just going to be there to push around for a couple of moments. Well, I mean, like I said, ShoWTimE is obviously going to be pushing. He is going to be making a move, and that's exactly what he does right here as he pushes up. A couple Force Fields come down. We grab a couple of Stalkers. Not great from Gerald, who's looking to try and trade efficiently with these Stalkers. What Geralt is going to have that I love are the Archons. The Archons are really good against Adepts, so I don't love is that stack defense isn't ready. That's going to melt to the Immortals as these Adepts, they want to be a little cautious. Ideally against the Archons, if they can, splitting up would be amazing. The batteries are going to finish. I'm surprised we didn't get rid of those a little sooner maybe from ShoWTimE. Don't know if it's really going to matter. The Adepts are going to threaten a shade forward here. We're just going to be seeing the Stalkers in the back line just being held up again. You can see how tanky those Adepts are, just how annoying they are being just by keeping you busy. And that is really going to be kind of the main idea of this. But yeah, the Archons are really good in this scenario, and that's going to be how Geralt is going to hold on to this. As ShoWTimE, it was looking good, and then you could kind of see him starting to run out of steam a little bit here. And it really was those Archons able to shred through the Adepts, and Geralt getting the Archons up, those batteries available too. I think ShoWTimE should have gone after the batteries a little bit sooner, honestly. I actually really think that could have been a little bit of a key difference maker. If you get those batteries and those Archons are not as survivable, if you can't keep them alive as long and everything, then it really could be a very different situation, So, yeah. Yeah, GG's as we get ready for game number 2 here. ShoWTimE hosted up the first game. We'll see if he wants to host the second. And we'll get this ready to rumble. So, yep, he's hosting up into Tourmaline, but Geralt takes the first game. I really feel like this was actually a very good scenario for ShoWTimE. To me, it was set up very well. I just think, like I say, the Adepts obviously do struggle against those Archons, and then he didn't really shade the Adepts in initially. I don't even know if that's necessarily so much of an issue, though. Alright, anyways, we're going to be getting into this next one, guys, so we're going to kick this off. Get this ready to go. ShoWTimE and Geralt game number 2 and see if ShoWTimE can bounce back. Rough start if he loses out to Geralt at the start of the day. Puts a lot of pressure on his other matches. Obviously, this is round robin, so you can't afford to make too many mistakes unless you end up in some pretty tricksy situations. So, let's see what happens. And get this ready to go in just a couple moments. All right, let's jump in. As we have in the bottom left-hand side for game number 2, our Blue Protoss player, who, like I say, I really actually felt like was very well set up in that previous one, just didn't go his way on that fight. ShoWTimE in the bottom left corner will be our Blue Protoss player taking on Geralt, who got those Archons just in time and is able to be up 1-0. There's best of 3. Of course, all best of 3s today, guys. It'll be 6 series in total as we work our way through this round-robin group. Again, doing the round-robin just because 6 best of 3s feels much nicer than 5 best of 3s for us as a viewer perspective, so that's kind of the idea on that one. As we have ourselves the gateways coming by, probes coming up, getting settled in for a few moments and getting that all ready to rumble. So bringing that through. This is just chrono boosting for a little bit, and away we go. Hello, what's up? How are you doing, Magalo on 2023 over on the YouTube? Hope you guys are doing great on the YouTube. Welcome to the stream today. If you are over on the YouTube, please do consider taking just half a second to scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out massively. Super easy to do. And like I say, it really does help us to do so much more in terms of pushing the YouTube content out to even more viewers and even more audience members. So yeah, please do consider checking that out. Like I say, super easy to do, free to do, and it takes you guys a second. We have so many people still unsubscribed on the YouTube as well. We are going to start pushing more aggressively the YouTube subscribe account, guys, because I really want us to get to a 50,000 YouTube subs this year, and I'm going to have to start being a bit more of a sellout towards it if I want that to happen. So as such, this is it. This is me telling you guys, this is it. This is the moment. If you guys are enjoying the YouTube, please do consider checking out the subscription button. It is free to subscribe on YouTube. It's just like following on Twitch. I want to push us towards 50k, and we can definitely make that happen. So hit that button if you don't already. We appreciate it. We're always good at YouTube. Nice, it's good to hear. It's very good to hear, considering half the time I forget to look at YouTube chat. I don't know why the last month or so I've been really bad at looking at YouTube chat. Like, I don't know why that's a such a thing. So, holy doodles, the seeding groups are brutal. Yeah, I mean, when you have the 8 best... In theory, the 8 best players playing online cups, participating in the same 2 groups, they are going to be brutal. Like, there's going to be not a lot of room for error there. It's going to be actually very interesting to see how those play out. One of the things I loved most last year about the 2025 championship was the seeding groups that we did. I just wanted to make the spring championship a bit of a bigger thing that drew out a little more. We won't use the same format for the summer championship, but I actually thought bringing the seeding groups back for one of our seasonal championships this year was a great idea. A fantastic way for us to, basically just get a bunch of good content and, again, make use of the point system and the Spring Cup qualification system that we have as well. Like I say, we'll be doing something similar for summer, but it'll not quite be the same. We like to mix the format up from spring to summer to winter championships, so generally trying to keep it a bit different. I think for summer we might go back to like a big Swiss group into playoffs. And then just have the Spring Cup guys seeded into playoffs already, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll figure it out, though. Haven't really thought much about the Summer Championship yet. We're still in May, guys. Can't get to it. We're just on the spring. We can't get too far along. Can't get too far ahead of ourselves. Oh my god, it's Duddles with the Rift Guitar. Holy. Thank you so much, mate, for the 108 months. Holy crap, that's a freaking... Is that not a, that's a 9-year, no? Holy. The 9-year resub. Funny, because we were just talking, I actually met up with Duttles the other day, guys. Here you go. Here's a story for you all. Yeah, me and Duttles met up the other day. Duttles is on an adventure around Europe. He came to sunny old Newcastle for the day and went and had some Korean barbecue and hung out. And, yeah, I was saying, like, the last time I saw Duttles was, like, 8 years ago. And now hitting us up with the 9-year resub. Crazy business. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope your trip home was good. Thank you for the 9 years. Crazy. PvP is going to be blink on blink at the moment. Next is coming through, so we continue to bring that up and get that underway just for a little bit. It's going to be seeing a few stalkers and the sentries gathering together. Next is coming online. We continue to bring that into place for a little bit. I thought the title said mech is back. Boo. Actually, you know, next time if we get... obviously, this is kind of like a Zergia design on the WardiTV stuff, but I actually think next time I'd really like to maybe do like a like kind of like a mechy one. Like a Terran-y mech kind of design, I think would be very cool. So that might be next year if we do another merch run. Maybe next year we'll do some like a kind of a Terran-y mech design. Maybe. These stalkers and sentries moving about, just gonna see the blink coming through. The next in the robo facility coming online. And get settled down for a couple of moments. Just gonna see the stalkers able to make a grab. Again, blink is coming up and online on both sides just initially. And we get that up and ready to roll. Stalkers and sentries, a couple of adepts coming through. Again, we can see that charge and a couple of probes coming about also. So just bringing a lot of that over. Hallucination is going to pop. And it's going to begin flying through the bottom side of the map. So already hallucination through the bottom. And now just onto the map to see a little bit of what's going on. Again, charge, robo facility, the additional probes coming through at the moment. So bringing that all online. And we have ourselves a little bit of waiting around. I mean, generally speaking, though, we're going into pretty similar things here, right? The setup is very similar. Stalker Sentry with Blink available on both sides already. Now you get charge and the +1 coming up from both players as well. Add a couple of gates. You add the probes on. Again, that is very much so just where we're headed to at the moment, as these couple of adepts are going to go shading by into the natural expansion. Just going to be seeing a couple of adepts. We'll get straight to business. A few of those probes dropping pretty quickly. Now the Stalkers and the Sentries still giving chase as well. The Stalkers getting pushed up towards the top side. A couple of adepts are still going to stay busy also. And just keep on punching their way through a few more of those probes just for a couple moments as well. The step's going to fall. That is going to be the end of our adept here. And our hallucination going to set up from the sentries as the Stalker Sentry Force begins to head its way around the right-hand side. It's just going to be making a bit of a journey over on this one. Again, charging the +1, continue to come through. And yeah, we'll see where we go next as this hallucination chills up in the main. Obviously, just get some info. ShoWTimE can see what's going on. I think this is the kind of game ShoWTimE wants to be playing, where this is kind of just mirrored. Both players are doing very similar things. ShoWTimE is going to be able to set up and kind of take control without anything too weird happening. This is the kind of game where I think ShoWTimE really does shine a lot of the time. So, yeah, to me, this is ShoWTimE's kind of game. We'll see just how well he plays it as that Temple Archives comes up. On both sides, the extra gates coming through, the few extra zealots still being warped in, +1 attack upgrade coming up and online as well. Still seeing that Observer being brought through too, and a few Stalkers just blinking back along the top. And we're going to charge, continue to build in the attack upgrade coming up on the Forge from both players. It's going to be evenly timed, so no difference there. ShoWTimE having map control though, can do stuff like this, just show up and bang, there's the 4th base, gone. So that's a cancel, and now ShoWTimE has his 4th base about, halfway done already compared to Geralt, which just restarts, so yeah, ShoWTimE taking some map control and just taking advantage. He's up for work because he's up some army supply. He kind of gets seen here, but he shouldn't get caught. He can blink away. He can keep himself very safe, so absolutely looking fine and dandy on that position as well. I'm just going to see 2 more adepts warping in, and a few High Templar warping in as well, as we get a few more zealots also heading in this direction down the left-hand side. Again, Prism +2, both coming up just for a little bit right now. Continue to bring that online for these next few seconds. We're going to see a lot of the zealots here from ShoWTimE going to start charging through from the back lines. A couple of Archons, obviously a big deal. They're a big deal against the Adepts, and for the same reason, they're kind of a big deal here against the Zealots. Splashy damage onto, these light units that disappear pretty quickly that otherwise meant to take time to clean out. There's a big factor. That's a massive blink because he's going to be able to deny the Prism, denies the warping into the fight, and so ShoWTimE will very comfortably take this engagement through and be looking good as he chases down those Stalkers. The couple of Zealots off to the left side get rid of an Archon as well, so we're able to grab that. And this army of ShoWTimE continues to push up to the top. I mean, that was obviously a very good fight for him. We'll see if he has enough to keep going himself. Looking at the unit count here, he still has some of his tech units, which is one of the main things, and he has more Zealots. So I think he's going to be fine. Basically, these armies are the same. Just ShoWTimE has tech units and Geralt does not. And that's a pretty big difference to be made. So, you see an Archon morphing in now from Geralt. He does have a new immortal that just showed up. That still means he's outnumbered, though, because ShoWTimE added 2 more Archons of his own. And again, look at these Archons doing their splash through those Zealots and just opening the lines of those Zealots to allow you into the back line and onto the more important units. I mean, Zealots warp right into this fight. That Archon has to pull back a little bit. Again, we give it a few moments, let some of the Stalkers tank some of that damage instead. ShoWTimE finally loses one of his Archons, but man, they have just put in so much value. I'd love to see how much damage like a single unit does in StarCraft 2 sometimes. It's fights like these where I'd love to just see just how much do those Archons really add. Because they were absolutely the most important unit, it'd be really cool to see them kind of get their roses, and get their flowers and be kind of congratulated for a job well done. we know that they do a good job. Just like I say, sometimes it's hard to visualize still. As that is going to take us to an ad break, guys, because we are going to have to run a round of ads before we jump into this game 3. And let's get that going. So we're going to kick off into Tyto Citadel in a couple moments. Bring that over. Getting this going in a couple of seconds. And yeah, Tyto Citadel will be coming on up in just a few. The infested WardiTV t-shirt on that dark green. Yeah, the dark green's a cool color. I think Helen has the dark green. It looks really awesome. I don't have a dark green myself. I've got a dark blue. I got like a silvery one. I got a light green one, and I got a dark blue one. I got a dark hoodie and a light hoodie. But yeah, the dark green looks awesome. I think Helen has the dark green t-shirt. Yeah, there's so many color combos. I was just like, I'm looking through them, and it's actually funny because like my lighter hoodie I got because I was really unsure about it, but like I think it's my favorite one over the dark one, even though I thought like it was actually going to look better. I thought it was going to look better on the dark than on the light, but actually it looked really cool on the light one. So yeah, no, that cool, good quality. You got any questions about the merge? Anybody, feel free to ask away as we go into game 3, deciding map of this opening series today. PvP gonna go the distance, and we have in the bottom right side our blue Protoss player ShoWTimE. Taking on, of course, the top left, red Protoss player, Gerald. YouTube chat is usually 80% WardiBot, 10% someone like me yapping some irrelevant shit, and 10% actually conversation about what's going on in the game. Hey, look, WardiBot's not taking over too much today, at least. Like, you know, WardiBot's kind of chilling a little. I did edit some of the timings on WardiBot to try and make it a bit less spammy on YouTube, but YouTube's just like a quieter chat, you know, is the problem. It's like, the problem is I have the same timer on Twitch and YouTube, and like it works very well on Twitch because people talk at least a little bit on Twitch most of the time. But yeah, pretty neat. Gates coming through, Sibylla's coming up, Roby's coming by. Get this all settled as we just see the couple gates getting in position. Hey, YouTube chat, we just need to do a better job of getting YouTube to talk. Maybe I just need to. Maybe if it helps if I actually read the YouTube chat more as well. But anyway, we were talking the other day, anyways, about how our Twitch chat and YouTube chat are generally quieter than other streams, anyway. And we already had this discussion the other day. So, wish there was a chat merger option. Yeah, that is a thing, right? Where it's like, I think you can do it with like extensions and stuff, but like it's very. Obviously, it requires everyone to be using it, right? And I know some streamers used to use like the merge chat on stream so people could kind of see what each other was saying a little bit. I mean, I've never been someone who really, you know, has on-stream chat, you know, as someone who casts games. I don't think you guys need to see the chat on the screen while we're, you know, watching the game, you know? So, yeah. WardiBots look cooler nowadays. Yeah, when I first set up the timers, it was a little bit excessive on the YouTube. Also, we had him reading Twitch chat commands and spamming in the YouTube, which didn't help either. Yap, help in the chat? Hell yeah. You got a Twitch sub but still watch on YouTube? Awesome. I mean, the stuff's awesome. Like, you know, supporting everywhere really helps. I know, it's another thing lately. Someone asked me the other day, they were like, hey, do you not think your Twitch viewership's a bit lower lately? And I'm like, it might be compared to, like, what it used to be, but honestly, like, you have to consider that we almost every day get 200 to 300 viewers very consistently on YouTube. And like, there's going to be some crossover there, but a lot of my YouTube viewership is probably people who rather watch on YouTube that previously watched on Twitch as well, you know? And like, when you take that into consideration, like, I actually, like, the overall viewership is very similar to what it was. So, yeah. It's always cool to see people supporting in both places, or supporting on one, watching on the other, whatever's best for you guys. Obviously, if you've got Prime. If you watch on YouTube and you have Prime, you may as well make a Twitch account, connect your Prime and sub, and basically give us some dollars for free every month, you know, if you want to go through the effort. Like, you know, that's one of those things. You can watch on YouTube and still support with your Primes on Twitch. And we do have these few stalkers. I'm going to poke away at those adepts. Some work being done. Just going to have that warp gate coming about. The Twilight Council coming through for a couple of moments as well. Just bringing that over for a couple of seconds. Getting this all settled. Twitch is blocked at work. Yep, I mean, that's another great aspect of the YouTube. They block Twitch, but they don't block YouTube. I don't know how that makes sense. How do you decide to block one? I guess because YouTube's just seen it. Apparently it's okay to watch YouTube. Twitch is gaming, so it must be bad, whereas YouTube, you can watch anything there, so it's useful. Yeah. Anyways, couple probes going down, a little bit of a depth harass from ShoWTimE, getting in, able to do some damage, stalking the sentry, playing cleanup for the moment. Put this thing on the background and rewatch if something exciting happens. Yeah, that's what we were talking about the other day when we talked about chat not being as active. I was like, a lot of people just have it on in the background and, like, you know, they watch over when the more exciting things happen, you know. It's very much so background noise for a lot of people, and some days the games are very good and people are chatting a whole lot more anyway, you know. So, yeah. YouTube has instructional videos. It just surprises me how many people have Twitch blocked but not YouTube blocked. Because I mean, how many people, I mean, okay, like, I don't know, I'm a StarCraft 2 caster and streamer. I don't know how often you guys go on YouTube during the workday to actually, you know, use it for work. Like, is this a thing? Do a lot of people do this? Yeah, this is, like I said, to me, this is something that, like, yeah, I guess sometimes I do this too, because sometimes I watch GSL on YouTube while I'm casting, but kind of a bit of a different vibe, you know? You keep me on with volume down or off while you're working? Yeah, no, like I say, this is something that's super common. This is why the viewership is very disproportionate to the... Because we were talking about people claiming streamers are botting. As, like, if people look into my numbers, I 100% get accused of botting. Because it's just people... we have a lot of people who just watch muted or quietly and just show up when something more exciting happens in the games. Like we don't have this Twitch chat just types W every time I find something in a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different community/atmosphere to a lot of other streaming, so... Anyways, maybe we should talk a bit more about this PvP, because we're getting a little bit more in depth. I'm getting dragged into this conversation. And it's just going to have ourselves the... Blink coming through, that Nexus coming online. The few Stalkers hitting this Nexus. Geralt taking the map control this game. A little bit different to previously, and that's mostly because ShoWTimE again opened with that Oracle. Obviously, the Oracle now dead as well, so not giving you any extra value. ShoWTimE going to have to re-expand to the bottom, but this is much better for Geralt. Denying third base, ShoWTimE onto still going into Blink, but a later Blink. And then we'll back this up with some Immortals as well. Getting that up, running, and ready to continue through. Would I consider eating a mermaid cannibalism? That's just a question I never thought I'd have to even consider an answer to. I'm so glad that I said I'm so glad we can talk about the important things instead of PvP. You know, you guys got my back. You guys heard hear me say, "Oh, let's focus up on this PvP," and you're like, "No." Depends which part you eat. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. I guess that is kind of true. Man, look at YouTube chat popping off today. YouTube chat's moving as fast as Twitch chat today. See? You see, it can happen. Crazy business. Alright, we do have ourselves the Stalkers of Geralt coming on the map, so he's going to stay active. ShoWTimE's a bit behind on army supply this game. He's later on the charge, similarly timed on the +1. Charge is not going to matter too much unless Geralt hits him in a moment where he has charge and ShoWTimE doesn't, and even then, defensively, you can be okay. Usually the issue with having charge later is you don't have a Zealot count as soon. If you don't have those Zealots as soon, then maybe is that timing window of Geralt to kind of get in and do something. The Immortal's going to get a shot or two as Geralt actually makes a good pick on his sentry and gets out. I thought the Immortals were going to get a kill, but they didn't, I believe. Let's have the extra gates coming around. The Temple Archives builds from Geralt as well, so gets the Archons ready to go. I'm very confident that ShoWTimE is going to add his own Temple Archives in the next few moments. He's currently out-stalked out over to that right-hand side, so Geralt swinging around on the right, able to get through, hitting a couple of those Stalkers down and resetting a couple of things. You can see the hallucination on the top side of the map fading away. And again, we got charge, +1, coming about, Prism in a couple of gateways, being added on as well. The Stalkers commit deep in this main. I was going to say they can recall out, so I'm sure that's part of the plan, and it was. We lose a couple of Stalkers for that effort. We got a pylon, we depowered. We've got multiple pylons. We depower 4 gates in the Robos. We actually put a lot of halting onto ShoWTimE's production lines and ShoWTimE's supply block from it. So, a very efficient trade from Gerald, actually. This was, like, super worthwhile. Some of the times you'll see these scenarios where it's like, okay, I'm going to go and commit to, you know, this blinking and we're going to get some pylons. It just wasn't worth the units you lose. But in this case, I think it slows ShoWTimE down enough that you're actually very happy with how this went, honestly. Well, next results warp in. The Temple Archives is coming online. The Nexus building through. The Observer and the +2 attack upgrade. building as well, so we bring a lot of that up as we actually going to find this hallucination. So ShoWTimE's info gathering being denied. ShoWTimE is moving onto the map. He's going to try and take the gold base bottom left, which is a cool way to maybe step back into this game a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Just going to be seeing the pylon here is going to get caught as well. It's just going to take that out. I'm just seeing the rest of the Zealot Stalker Archon Force moving over. I just don't think you can really do much here at ShoWTimE. Feigning some pressure is not a bad thing. I just think the moment he actually commits into something in this, I think it's going to be a bad time. I think it's going to be a very bad time if we commit into something here. So kind of hoping that we stay clear of that one. And let's just have the +2, the cannon coming around, the Zealot Stalker coming up. Like I say, ShoWTimE is here. I'm not sure if ShoWTimE really wants to fight. He is going to take this engagement. He's on the ramp. A couple of the Archons of Geralt and the Immortals of Geralt not able to get in position, so a lot of the supply advantage of Geralt just not really prevalent. And that means that these Zealots have been dying from Geralt and not dying from ShoWTimE, so he takes a really good engagement. There's a fake Colossus. He puts some damage on it. He's going to pull back into another Zealot Warp in, but this is a great fight for ShoWTimE. This leveled out the supply a lot. ShoWTimE still sits behind about 7 workers or so, but he's now going to have a gold base active, so he will benefit from the gold base economy. So actually, the ShoWTimE's really turned this into something a whole lot nicer than what it originally seemed to be. Going to be in position here again. Now, there is a battery nearby. I thought that might be an initial target, but we don't go after it. We could get the pylon in a moment or two just to stop warp-ins without the use of the prism. The Zealots that show up are going to get onto the Archons, which is nice. Geralt's Stalks in the back are being chased away. I just don't know if ShoWTimE has enough to truly get in after this these tech units at the end of it all. ShoWTimE is not going to have... I mean, he's going to need a warp-in from the bottom side. I think this was him going a little bit too far and a little bit too deep, unfortunately. So he ends up losing that big time. Those Immortals of Geralt survive, and ShoWTimE now 20 supply down. Like I say, mining off of a gold base is nice and all. That really is just the beginnings of a nice economy. I mean, what ShoWTimE did do nicely here is he killed the Prism, removes the threat of this army of Geralt coming across the map super quickly, because at the very least you probably want to rebuild a Prism before you attack. You want the warp-ins, so ShoWTimE will buy himself some time there. I think that was just too committed of a fight into the stag defense. I just don't think it was necessary either. Like, I think he was still in a good position to keep on threatening and to let that gold-based economy sink in a little further. Now ShoWTimE is going to be forced into a fight here in a few moments. To tell you what as well, Geralt being +2 is a major factor right now as well. The fact he did not slow down on his upgrades went straight to +2. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is obviously down at the +1. That's not a great sign as well. So that part is definitely not pretty. And it's just going to be seen +2, Archon the Dark Shrine, all coming up. +3 attack coming in from Geralt as well is just going to be starting up now. A couple of Zealots continue to build. And that's going to be us for these next few moments as we just see. The main thing is going to be this attack is going to be very difficult to stop. ShoWTimE obviously has to fight. You need this gold base. This is his 4th. It's not some kind of bonus base along the way or anything. So you very much so need to protect this position. And we're going to give it a go. But we're down on the upgrade. We're down on the unit count. Those Immortals in the back are just going to be swinging for some damage as well for sure. That is going to put so much extra in here and get so much more done, it feels like. ShoWTimE will try and micro his way out of this, but Geralt is going to get the first win of the day, which I think comes in as a little bit of an upset for some people. I would say so too. I think ShoWTimE, generally speaking, very confident, very strong in PvP. But it is PvP, and Geralt's honestly had some very good PvP of his own lately as well. GG's, as we're actually going to go back-to-back on ShoWTimE games with ShoWTimE versus Nikoract. But this is obviously very dangerous for ShoWTimE, because you lose out on this game right now here as ShoWTimE, and you are already in a world of trouble. 0-2 does not get you out of this group 9 times out of 10, even if you switch it up to get to 1-2 in the end. So it's going to be very intriguing as we get Nikoract and ShoWTimE ready to veto. Let's get that veto started, guys. We'll run some ads as well. Just want to make sure we're the right way around here. We are. Perfect. Yeah, so we'll get this veto process started up and get this ShoWTimE versus Nikoract match on the way. So like I said, dangerous match because Nikoract can be a little bit of a TVP sniper. So definitely don't take that as a, definitely don't take this match lightly as ShoWTimE. Or if you're a ShoWTimE fan, don't think that you're just safe here to get to 1-on-1 in this group. It's actually one of the reasons I'm not overly worried for ShoWTimE, because I actually think ShoWTimE has a decent chance against Rogue as well. So if you beat Nikoract, if you do beat Rogue, I think there's a good chance Nikoract could take down Gerald, and maybe Gerald, that win against ShoWTimE, doesn't transition into something in the end. So I do think that's something of a factor as well as we get ready to go. Just a couple moments, we're just going to wait for the vetoes, guys, and we'll be off and away into some more Terran versus Protoss action now. That's a fun group because we actually have a good spread of race in this group. In tomorrow's group, we're going to have triple Protoss. So we're going to have 3 PvPs and 3 TvPs. This group and Group C at least have the double Protoss, 1 Terran, 1 Zerg setup, which obviously gives us a little bit more variety in terms of everything that takes place. Cool. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is feeling great. Again, thank you so much for joining us. It's the WardiTV Spring Championship as we start to build into the second major WardiTV event of the year. When I say second, I mean obviously we've had the Team League, which was a big deal, but this is the second major that builds into the 2026 series and our whole point system and everything that goes along with that. So yeah, hope you guys are having a good time. And like I said, just day one here today, Group A, just getting this started off. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with us and joining. Give me Winter Madness for map number 1. ShoWTimE hosted up very quickly before. He's going to do so again. Well, he beat me to it. He will not. For once, I am faster on the host. First map, Winter Madness. Second map, Tourmaline. Third map, Taito Citadel. Very standard set of maps here, so that part is not too surprising. Get this ready to go. Alright, just missing our casters, actually. Oh my god, every time I try and drag ShoWTimE up, it goes wrong somehow. Alright, ready GLHF. Looks as though we're going to have a couple here. Ready's up. And we can go. Let me just send a quick message somewhere. Alright, let's jump in. Let's kick this off as we have in the bottom right hand side our red Terran player. This will be Nikoract as he takes on the blue Protoss in the top left hand side. It is ShoWTimE as we get into game number 1 of a second best of 3. ShoWTimE looking to bounce back. Let's see if you can get this win. And if you can get this grab, then I think, especially if you get a 2-0, because obviously taking a map while losing your series can be a big map score advantage as well. So like I say, definite ways into this group still for ShoWTimE, even with that opening loss against Geralt. And ShoWTimE is in the top left-hand side. Our blue Protoss player starting off this series. Bottom right, the red Terran is going to be Nikoract. So I can say he's definitely known as the TVP sniper as of late. He has been quite the cheeky player, honestly. He's full of fun, full of surprises, plays a lot of very fun styles. In general, just, yeah, he's really someone that's very fun to watch, and like I say, has had extreme success in this matchup, a matchup that so many Terrans struggle with. Not that, you know, Nikoract doesn't have his own moment where he struggles as well, but yeah, I think generally speaking, it has been impressive to see how he's been able to navigate a matchup that has been such a difficult one for so many, and give himself kind of the name, like, you know, being known as someone who actually can win this matchup more often than not, and especially when you're the underdog being able to win this matchup. Of course, a lot of this comes off of very well thought out and executed early game build orders and pushes and shoves. So it is a bit more on that aggressive side of life in terms of what we typically see here. But ain't nothing wrong with that as we get set and ready to see just what will happen as Proby. Going back and forth for a couple of moments, getting set up. He's going to be the factory pretty quickly as well from Nicoract. Obviously keeps him on the more aggressive kind of route here early on. So that'll be one thing for us to keep our eyes on. CC reacting the tech lab, building up as well. Just gonna see that Reaper is gonna get chased out of here for a few moments. And now that reactor coming up on the barracks. Starport will be starting, the Adept moving around after that Reaper also, trying to see just what else we can find for a few moments. Council building from ShoWTimE obviously gives us his initial choice of tech as well. There's a CC coming then from Nicoract, so we see him getting that set up. A couple of Marines, the Cyclone, the Medevac still building as well, bringing that straight through here. And we'll see him get the Medevac on the map and see if he can get any early pressure going. While ShoWTimE obviously looks to get his blink established, and we'll be looking to play from there. Again, Medevac, Cyclone, the Marines will all be producing through. Just have our blink, the warp gate coming online as well. Pretty decent across the board on all of that. CC will float over into the natural next few moments. Excuse me, get that put into place. Viking, Siege Tank, and a couple Marines still coming through. Actually going to have this Adept is going to meet the Reaper out over here. Now Reaper is going to get turned around, so just going to get pushed back initially. Not going to be allowed anywhere just yet. Our blink is currently about halfway done. Yeah, Robo Facility, Gateway, and the battery. Continue to build through for the moment. We've got the Medevac is still overhead as well. Tank and a few Marines are going to come across, decide what they want to get up to. Just going to see the Viking, the Tank, and the Marines still coming through. The units are going to start unloading. A couple of the Stalkers will start to take some damage. Well, this is where ShoWTimE obviously wants to use this battery. Nice grenade. Going to bop the Stalkers back for some lost attacking time. And then we have ourselves this group of Stalkers. Now running out of battery energy. Actually going to start taking some really big hits. Obviously you want to try and minimize the losses here. The tank gets siege. He's going to try and focus fire that tank. But a lot of the Stalkers are going to go down. So this has been very scary for ShoWTimE. We still have a Viking alive, which is a lot of damage output. The Cyclone as well is a lot of just... I mean, it's very dangerous because obviously that Cyclone can obviously do some lock-ons and basically guarantee kills. So I think that a lot of the time is a pretty big deal as well. Model a couple probes all coming about. Just going to have our Stalkers still pushing through the center. Tank shot onto those Stalkers. And we'll see the tank able to push this back the other way. Marines, Vikings, and the Cyclone still gathering together. A couple of barracks continue to come through. And yeah, the Immortal and the Stalker still pushing for a couple of moments. So we're going to start fighting a few of those Marines taking damage. Stalker's going to blink back for a couple seconds as well. Nice micro on the Prism. The Immortal obviously makes a big difference, especially when a lot of these units are obviously armored, so the Immortal does that bonus damage. ShoWTimE is going to fend this off. Blinks for the Medevac, doesn't get it. Good save from Nikoract, really, right? He really got the most out of everything here. One very low HP tank and Cyclone on the center. He's going to get a tank shot onto the Stalkers. Didn't have enough to kill. That's sad, because that was very low HP units. ShoWTimE going to continue across the map. Can still warp in. Still looking to maybe capitalize, although I don't know if he's going to have too much opportunity here realistically to get across and do, like I say, too much overall. I think he's probably going to find himself stopped before we get too far. Stalkers get after a couple of those SCVs. Observer coming about, charge as well. The Marines and the Viking going to go jumping to the low ground. Yeah, charge +1 on the gates. Keep building into play. So bring that through for the moment. Big army. Wow, the SCV pull. You know what? I think this has a good chance of working simply for the fact that we've already seen just this takes so long for ShoWTimE to shut down. He spent a lot of time invested into kind of dealing with this, defending against this aggression of Nikoract so far in the game. Like, I feel like ShoWTimE has not been able to focus on his game because he's been so caught up in just dealing with what Nikoract is thrown toward him, right? So, yeah, I think ShoWTimE could be in a little bit of danger here. No charge for a few more moments is going to be rough. Having charge would make this so much easier. Now, at this point, if you don't have charge yet, the goal is going to be to pull back, buy time, give yourself as long as possible. What's scary is with the SCVs here. Obviously, if they start bunkering up, that becomes very scary. However, we're going to send the Zealots around. So the Zealots are going to get ready to shut off reinforcements from the flank into the tanks. This is very committed from Nikoract to the point where obviously ShoWTimE can consider losing the third base and still being somewhat okay on this as well. 42 to 46 army supply. Nice with the Zealots. He's going to catch a tank. He's going to catch some Marines. And now the longer you wait as ShoWTimE, the better this is for you. Tanks and Siege, is that going to bait him into the commitment? It probably will. I don't know if it's necessarily even a bait. I think it's just the best time to possibly go. The Zealots take a little while to catch back up. Some of them were quite far out on the map with the reinforcement chasing that was going on. But it looks as though ShoWTimE is going to get the defense here. As the tanks start to go down, the medevac micro is cute. It's just not going to make the difference. ShoWTimE will find the defense. Those Zealots getting that charge, buying the time. I mean, that's the thing about these SCV pulls. There's no waiting. You got to go. And it's like you show up when ShoWTimE doesn't have charge. You got to hit in that moment. You got to take advantage of that, because if you let charge finish, bam, the entire game becomes so much more difficult for you. So it just becomes really tough really quickly. So yeah. All right. Jumping into game number 2 here in a second. Our second map will be Tourmaline. I'll get that hosted straight up for them, and we'll get this on the way. Hello, Wardy. Do we have some big events soon? Or you heard some big World Championship and stuff will not continue? Yeah, so StarCraft didn't get picked up by EWC. So, honestly, we don't have much coming up at all. Like, I mean, there's some community-based tournaments, like Maestros of the Game. The French tournament will be starting soon. Home Story Cup is coming up at the start of July. Obviously, we're continuing with WardiTV stuff. I have a big tournament that was in the works. It's been halted because of communications with Blizzard, apparently. So, that's a little bit of a shame. But we're working on things as well. So, mostly community stuff. Big offline tournaments. You're kind of looking for, like, China or so to step in and give us some love there, basically. So, yeah. It's just, unfortunately, the state of StarCraft here, which is very sad, but we'll obviously continue to throw all of our effort into the community side of things. If there's one thing that will not fall, it is the community's level StarCraft 2 events, because me and many others are continuing to very passionately throw ourselves into pretty much as many of those events as we can. What's up, Jin Kamui? Thanks so much for the generosity of 5 gifted subs. Appreciate you. Going out to Ben, Hugo, the Spotted Dog, Wayne 850-410, Ninja DNA, and the Kuka. Thank you so much for the 5 subs, Jin Kamui. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. It's a spring championship, guys, and that means we do have to, because it's a WardiTV event, we've got to sell out a little bit more. There's, you know, a Wardi event, and Wardi events need support, because without your support, these don't happen. That's why we mentioned the Patreon page so much. That'll flash up on the left side of your screen right now, patreon.com/WardiTV. Your best way to support these tournaments is to get on that Patreon. 100% of everything on Patreon goes directly into the tournament prize pools, so do check that out. Fletch SC2, thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime as well. Prime subbing, great way to support the channel as well, guys, obviously. Like I say, everything helps, whether that's becoming a YouTube member, a Twitch subscriber, whether it's following or liking and just doing the free things every day and tuning in and providing your viewership. It all goes a long way. Patreon's great. Obviously, just again today, the new WardiTV merch is available, so you can ! merch if you would like a link over to the merch store. That is available as well if you want to get your hands, if you want to support while getting yourself something physical as well, get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie or so, and support tournaments while doing that. Everything we do is about continuing to run more StarCraft 2, so if you enjoy what you're seeing, consider supporting it. It goes a long way. And yeah, I really want to try with the Spring Championship to push us back up to 700 subs. We've been kind of in the 500-ish area for a month or two now. I'd really like to push us back up to 700 in this Spring Championship. We've got a lot of stream days coming up. We've got a lot of content coming, other events to cover as well. So we've got a lot going on. So I'd love to, like I say, take advantage of that. Try to get the sub count back up a bit and back into just a little bit of a healthier place once again. So, yeah, that's going to be what we try and do. So there you go. There you go. Alrighty. The merch wash is great. Yep, Helen has been testing all the merch. She's a big advocate of the mug as well. Great handle, great rim. She's a big advocate for the mug too, if you fancy yourself a new mug. Great size as well. It's a go-to coffee mug nowadays. So, I mean, if you take advice from anyone, some of the best advice out there. What's up, General Pathic? How you doing? Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube today as well. And as we get ourselves ready to rumble into this game. Yeah, into this game number 2. Sorry, it is ShoWTimE up 1-0. I'm getting carried away yapping with chat. I'm not setting the scoreboard. My apologies, guys. It is ShoWTimE's advantage in this best of 3. Alright, so get into this game number 2. Yeah, I've got ourselves Blink on the way up from ShoWTimE. Nothing really wild just yet. On the Nikoract side of things, everything's looking pretty standard and typical as of right now as well. So yeah, everything looking very normal just for the moment. Reaper coming back through. The Hellion's going to be there to help push back for a couple moments as well. So moving that around, taking a couple seconds. And yeah, Blink coming about. Warp Gate coming through. Still seeing that rope facility coming online as well. So just bring that up, bringing it running in with everything else. Get this all settled. Yeah, everything's very standard from ShoWTimE. Like I said, he's definitely going to be expecting Nikoract to continue to play somewhat aggressively, kind of similar to what we saw in the previous games. So you're kind of having that expectation as ShoWTimE. Standard usually is still just best. I mean, standard is not really greedy, right? Overly safe can sometimes be a bit of a funny one, because then you actually give yourself very little room for ever playing overly safe. Nice catch on that medevac, going to take a lot of damage. Doesn't go down. ShoWTimE really tried for it, got that extra stalk shot off toward it, but doesn't quite get there to kill the medevac. That's fine, because it just being low pretty much denies it from coming in aggressively. Reaper and the Hellion to the mineral line. There's no battery here, so this is going to be good for at least a couple of pros. We're going to lose 4 workers in the grand scheme of things on this one, so that actually works out very nicely. Stalker's pulling back over, a few pros going down, and then we do have that Blink continuing up as well at the moment. Well, the medevac pulls back against impact on the way. Marine Marauder coming over. We continue to bring this all online. Just going to see our tank setting up as well. Let's continue to bring that through. Just going to get that sieged. Marines are moving into the main. I was wondering if he'd already seen the Observer, or he just had a feel of where things were going there. I'm going to handle this pretty decently for a moment or two. The Stalker's obviously looking around. They don't blink in. No commitment from ShoWTimE for the moment, at least then. ShoWTimE will just sit here pretty happy with the map control he creates for himself, not looking to necessarily rush into anything else just for now, which is, I think, absolutely fine. No worries there. Against Impact, Combat Shield, and +1 all building up. Do have our Storm and everything else coming through too. That +1 on the charge continue to produce in for the moment. So yeah, we get a lot of that online, bringing that about. Nicoract has got his bio upgrades oncoming, right? So he's not going to be far from having the +1, the stim and the combat shield kicking in. We are just going to see the army coming across, a little bit of this army stepping through from Cousin Shells coming over. Stalker's going to be able to get a medevac already. He's just going to be able to grab that. And again, we've got a Storm coming through. The Stalker's still being chased for a little while. Well, we're actually going to lose a Stalker as well. I mean, this is obviously one of the bigger pushes here from the Terran. However, we will be able to meet this with charge lots. And not just with charges, but with Storm as well. So we really do have pretty good tech to work with right now. As the Storms come down, the Marines are going to get blasted backward by those Storms. Just going to fend those off pretty quickly. So it's going to push that back the other way. A couple of tanks getting sieged already. Got the Widowmine coming into place. And again, Marine Marauder continue to produce through as we speak. Just going to see the Zealots ready to come in. Tanks going to get hit by the Storms, which obviously good damage on them. Tanks can't move out of the Storms, so they're going to eat the full brunt of the damage there, which means that the second tank is going to be super low now. ShoWTimE running the Zealots in, but he needs a little bit more damage. He kind of feels like he might need another Storm. The Archon will help against some of these Marines. May need to protect that with some of the prison pickup micro. If you can keep that Archon alive, that would be incredible, as ShoWTimE is once again scrambling to a defense here in this game against Nikoract. So scrambling to make this work, scrambling to make this happen. It's going to be seen, apparently it's going to be enough scrambling because Nikoract just runs out of steam and already claims G to the G's. And that is going to be ShoWTimE taking game number 2 of this best of 3 and rectifying his starting point in this group, as he will now start 1-1. And Nikoract will start 1-0. Of course, Gerald 1-0, and he will be playing against Yeah, he'll be playing against Nikoract in this next matchup. So Geralt Nikoract, I've ordered this today in a way that allows us to basically stay on the European server, so makes our life a whole lot easier, less server hopping, and yeah, it'll be Nikoract and Geralt coming up next, guys, in a few moments' time for some more StarCraft. So we'll be getting that underway and bringing that over. So yeah, cool. Let's double check a couple things, guys, here and there. Amazing. All right, yeah. Well, I actually wanted to show you guys. I was just going to bring up the WardiTV new merch stuff on screen, just to show you guys a little bit as well, while we have a few moments here of not much going on. Obviously, wait for some videos between these games. But yeah, this is our new merch collection. So we have a few different options, mostly just different t-shirts. So we've got the WardiTV hoodie. And that's a pullover hoodie, very snug, actually very cozy. I have an XL and an L, and I actually wear both of them pretty comfortably. I am casting my large one right now, which I have in black. I actually think the blue would look really cool in this. I also have this color. I actually love this one. This one, like, I was not necessarily sold on this initially. Like, I got it because I was really interested to see if it would work, but it looks great. You might have seen me wearing it on stream. We've got the WardiTV milk. This actually does come in 2 different sizes as well. And then we've got a selection of t-shirts, depending on what you like. If you just want the basic kind of WardiTV new infested logo and nothing else, this one down here. It's a little bit cheaper because it's less printing as well. So if that's what you fancy, it's a great option. But if you like the other kind of things, if you like the actual, like, the infested TV look, we can get on the back of the t-shirt here with the WardiTV logo on the front, or you can get the one where it's just got the TV on the front as well, if that's what you want to rep. So you can check that out. These are all the new WardiTV things. There is a bunch of different colors available. I actually have this color as well. I actually think it's really cool, but they're all very nice. I've got, like, between me and Helen, we've got like 4 or 5 of the colors in total, and we like all of them. They all work really neat. And yeah, if you feel like being extra exciting, if you feel like being really exciting, we actually have the ability for you guys to gift these into the Twitch chat too. So if you're feeling generous and you want to support the stream, but also give some love into the Twitch chat, you can click this button here, which is gift Twitch chat. Whenever you go into a product, you can gift it to Twitch chat, and then someone can claim it, and they can pick their color, and they can pick their size, and they can claim it. And I believe you do not pay for anything if you do that. The only thing you might have to pay for is if there is a customs import tax, but the majority of shipping locations don't have that on Fourth World. So, yeah. Like I said, check that out. They're going to be they're not time gated or anything. They're not like going to be gone next week or anything. This is not like a FOMO situation. Just yeah. This is very much so a case of just you guys, if you fancy them, go buy them. Like I said, I've been wearing mine pretty much non-stop. You might have noticed. I don't think I've got a WardiTV shirt on today, because I've worn them the last 3 days. They're all in the wash. So, but yeah, they're super cozy, super comfortable. If you're a Twitch sub, you actually get 10% off as well, I believe. So even better, if you're a Twitch sub, make sure you log into the site before you buy. Get your 10% discount. And it is also, last thing I'll say, is also free shipping if you spend more than $75. So if you get like a hoodie and a t-shirt, that should be very close to free shipping. I think. I'm trying to do like the math in my head, like 50, 60. It'd be very close, but it should be around there. You get the free shipping as well. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the merch chat. Get this ready to go. If players can actually sign it, I can order. I mean, maybe I should buy some and take them to like Home Story and stuff and get them signed. And then I could do some giveaways. Oh, that would be so smart. Okay, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to buy some for the and then get some signed up by players. Do some giveaways. I didn't think of that, but that's a great idea. Especially because this year is the WardiTV 10-year anniversary, guys. So having some giveaway stuff might be a cool little something. First map going to be 10,000 feet here between Nicoract and Geralt. That just got decided, so we'll get that hosted and get this ready to go in a second, guys. As we get into our third series of the day here in the WardiTV Spring Championship Group A. Get this ready to rumble. Could also do a cast special version. I'd probably just do a I'd probably just get everyone I can to sign like 5 to 10 of them or something, maybe. Maybe get like 5 signed. That'd be kind of cool. We could give them away. Like I say, we're gonna do today. This year's the 10-year anniversary of WardiTV, so I would love to do a special event for a week or so and do some like crowdfunding with it and stuff, maybe stuff like that. So yeah, you're a total sucker for a hoodie. The temptation is real. I can only tempt you further. That they're super nice. If you like hoodies, like say if you like cozy hoodies, they're really like nice, and I don't know if this makes sense, but like they're really thick without being super thick. Like when I put it on, I don't feel like it's super heavy, but it feels very cozy. Does that make sense? Like it feels thick without feeling heavy, I suppose. Is that what I'm going for as my explanation? Yeah, no, they're very nice. I mean, I have this one right now. It's great. You know what I mean? Nice. Yeah, sometimes sometimes when you get a hoodie and it's like it's thick, but like you put it on, you're like, oh, this feels like thick, you know? Yeah. Instead of one signed by all, get a bunch each signed by only one player. Then each shirt is unique. Ooh. Is that cooler, having your shirt signed by one player instead of being signed by multiple people? I even know. You do anything for Maru, Bjorn, and Clem signed shirt? Mate, I mean, if I can find Maru in person, sure. That's more easily said than done. Trip to Korea just to get some signatures. Alright, let's kick off as we get into game number 1 of this best of 3. In the bottom right-hand side, we are going to start things with our red Protoss player. This is going to be Geralt, who has obviously had a great start in this group, 1-0. Now, this can be a dangerous matchup. We talked about how Nikoract could be so dangerous in this TVP. We saw how close he was to knocking ShoWTimE down a couple of times in those games previously. So, let's see what happens. Nikoract coming in as still a little bit of an underdog here, but a very winnable match. And if Nikoract beats Geralt here, we have a really fascinating scenario where all the European players would be 1-1 in this group, heading into their matches versus Rogue. And that really sets the precedent for almost anything to happen. There could be a big tiebreaker scenario, for example. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that can kind of happen from there. So yeah, we'll see what takes place as we kick off and we get going. Game 1 of this best of 3. We begin as the Reaper and the Orbital coming through, Cybercore coming about, Probe in the Zealot building. A couple of SCVs will come down and chase that Proby out to the low ground for a few moments. So bringing that through, getting that going. It's going to drop the command center into place here as well. Nikoract going to put that straight in position. Get that going for the moment. Cybercore coming about. That Nexus coming through. Just going to have ourselves the CC continuing to build as well for the moment. And we do have ourselves the CC factory all building up, bringing that online. The Reaper going to head down toward the bottom right side of the map, so heading straight down over here, getting into position into the natural in these next few moments. Let's see that Zealot gonna keep swinging by. Just gonna see the bunker. I'm gonna get depowered from building for a few moments, losing its SCV. So the Zealot find some good pressure. Reaper and the Marines with the SCV pull should be fine here. Obviously a little bit committed. I'm just gonna be seeing the Stalker showing up. Reaper and the Marine will jump back into the bunker. And yeah, Starport building. Command center about to be done. Hellion and a couple more Marines still building about. And again, the Twilight Council coming into place at the probes, at the Adept. Gateway going to come down over the side as well. Just going to see the Reaper still chipping away at the Zealot. Again, our Twilight Council going to be done in just a few moments too. as that Stalker turns back around. Not able to commit through for much else just yet. Turtles with the official goat of SC2 as Wardy. Wow. Not had a Wardy goat choice for a while. Appreciate it, mate. Using those well-earned Wardy points on very smart things, clearly. We have this blink coming through. It's just starting. A couple extra gates coming about as well. Wouldn't mind the SCVs and the medevac. All producing on up. Got ourselves a lot of setup underway then. As with the medevac out, we'll be able to see Nikoract maybe take a bit more presence on the map. Take himself toward the bottom right side with Gerald here. Try and make something happen. And there's a couple of Marines just building up off that barracks. Gonna see another Rex coming down. A couple of tech labs will be getting placed. The Stalkers in position, going to be able to force the medevac away. It gets pushed back up the left side, so it doesn't get to come across. It's a great denial from Geralt. Just removes that threat from the map before it can potentially do anything. So that's a really, really awesome moment right there. Like I say, that does a lot for you right off the bat. Really great starting point to kind of continue through this game with. Well, a few more Stalkers still being added in. The Raven is coming up to being done from Nikoract. He actually repaired this medevac and he does get it down on the map this time. Obviously will be a later strike with these two mines, so a little bit easier to deal with, but still has that potential of getting some work done. Let's see what we can do. Let's just have the gateway and the Nexus continue to build up. Again, charge will be starting. And that's Stimpack building on the side of Nikoract, the Marauder, and the Marines continue to produce through as well, adding on an SCV. So let's see the two Widow Mines dropping in from the medevac there. So just going to see those unloading. And the Widow Mines will burrow up. Oh, we don't see it. We don't react. Oh, because he has no high ground vision. So the Widow Mines get to burrow and he just doesn't see it until 9 probes are blown to smithereens. And all of a sudden, we are down 9 workers here as Geralt. So that is rough. That really takes away a lot of the economic edge which he was holding in this game at this point. Now only 46 probes for him to the 41 SCVs of Nikoract. So Nikoract, he also has this Raven which can auto turret a little bit. He does get blinked on here. Didn't drop the auto turret down. Kind of surprised he didn't drop it. It almost feels like you may as well just bring this Raven home, get it repaired, and put it back on the map later. Or just even combine it with your main army push. Just because it's so low, it feels so vulnerable. Obviously, the Widow Mine drop is still around as well. It can make a reappearance at some stage too, if it does so wish. So it does have that option as well. For these next couple moments, we do see this Bio Army coming down the map. Pylon going to be there soon, and that just means probably Probe's about to die, as we'll take that down. So we do have, as Geralt, the information that this is happening. Widow Mine drop is back into the natural as the Widow Mines. Oh my goodness, there's going to be a massive explosion. We minimize it at least, but it's still another 9 workers. Bio shows up, Storm is not done, and Nikoract is going to not have a moment of belief. He does hit a feedback on one of the medevacs, but this army is melting. The Archon goes down. That's the only real techie kind of high-value thing that can really do anything here. The Stalkers are going to fall as well, and Nikoract is looking to get himself the 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Hey, this is kind of what I want, because I feel like if Nikoract beats Gerald, it really throws this group into real chaos. All the Europeans trading matches with each other, to me, like I say, it's just chaos, right? It's just chaos incarnate, so I'm kind of about it. I'm kind of about that, as we'll be headed to Tourmaline for map 2, guys. So we'll just have to take a moment to run some ads, though. Apparently I forgot to run them between series, so I'll just set those off and get Tourmaline hosted for you and get this ready to go. Nikoract just went full killer mode right there. That's what Nikoract does, man. Sometimes he just shows up, he does a lot, and obviously in this case, it was killing the initial workers obviously helps a lot, but it's more than just that, right? Like, there's more to it than that at the end of the day. As we get set up with our invites for Geralt to join our lobby, we'll ready him up and get this set to go. You're watching the WardiTV Spring Championship, our second major of the WardiTV 2026 series. We are heading into all these games today. 2 players advance into the group stage 2. 2 players will be immediately eliminated from the competition. There will be some prize money just for having made it this far already. Even if you get 3rd place in this group instead of 4th, you actually double your prize money, so there's already, like, you know, incentives for playing and taking part. The best part about these championships is we do aim to pay out to as many players as possible. And that's exactly what we are doing with this prize layout. But obviously, get into that group stage 2, start getting your prize money into the higher numbers, and have yourself a chance to make into the playoffs as well is also very exciting. As we get ready for Tourmaline in, like I say, just a couple moments, guys. Ready to kick this off. Let's go into game 2 as Nikoract chases Geralt out of this series, perhaps. Let's find out if he can keep it up in a second game here or not. In the top right side, with the 1-0 lead, our Red Terran player is Nicoract. The TVP sniper is sniping once again. Unfortunately, in the crosshairs is Geralt in the bottom left-hand side, the blue Protoss player here. Looking to get back on track after that first game got away from him. Well, Tourmaline can actually really be a great aggressive map. Obviously, you can go from natural to natural without any high ground, low ground interaction, which is very good for the aggressive pushing player. There is a secondary pathway on the map you can use as well if you do need to kind of be a bit more intriguing on your movements than just straight left to right, or natural to natural. So we'll see how this plays. As SCV across the map early, will engineering bay block. Gerald sees it quickly, so we'll be able to respond to that as he does send his probe just across the map for now. Should be pulling probes to the low ground in a moment or two, but is going to be very slow to do so. Does that mean he's going to let this engineering bay just get... He's going to let it get full HP. It's kind of wild, because at some point you still have to clean out the engineering bay, unless you just expect them to cancel once you commit to the Nexus. Yeah, maybe that's just what we're going for then. Still interesting though, right? Because you can still force your opponent to kind of, you know, keep units back a long time if you don't cancel the engineering base straight away. Engineering bay in the factory still coming up, so bring that into place. With the Cyberclaw and the Nexus coming through from Gerald, so obviously he's just going to be a little bit out of position with the initial setup of that, but still looking reasonable for a couple moments. Getting that into place. Factory building, reactor on its way. Just going to see the Nexus and the probe and the Stalker, the warp gate. A little bits of everything at the moment. Nothing overly wild though. You can see the Stalker and the warp gate still building through. The Marine is just going to be right there, able to push that probe back for a few seconds. Yeah, Nexus is about to be done. Twilight Council now starting up as well. A couple of units having some good time pushing in. I'm just going to be able to go for a couple of units as well. The SCVs having to be pulled against that Stalker isn't fun. Gerald has another Stalker coming across the map. Did surround the Stalker in the end, but it does recall home safely. And we will delay. Okay, this is actually not good for Gerald if he loses this Stalker, and obviously a Cyclone lock-on would kill it. There's no high ground. There is a line of sight blocker, though. Does the line of sight blocker save you in time? No, the Stalker decides just to turn. It makes sense. If you're not going to get to the line of sight blocker in time, you may as well put some damage onto the Cyclone, make it potentially more easily killed later on. So, yeah, that makes sense, but obviously not ideal. Stalker goes down, recall is on cooldown. I'm just going to go, find the other Stalker here. Now, this has a battery at least, so it can pull back. Can do some back and forth. We are going to see some probes transferring between bases, so we're going to just get ourselves a probe kill there as well. The Cyclone delivering so far. There's now a few Marines show up. Oh, this is kind of scary, no? Extra Stalker warping, and we've already drained a little bit of battery energy. If we could lock on and drain some battery energy early here again, just with the Cyclone lock on, and then the Marines show up, could be kind of nasty. There's other Stalkers in a weird place too. It can't really walk across because it's not near the battery, so yeah, if Nikoract actually wanted to pressure into this second Cyclone, this could actually be very dangerous right now. Another Stalker showing up as well. 2 lock-ons. The batteries will only be able to do so much healing at a certain time right here. We're going to have to energy recharge. 1 Stalker goes down. 2nd Stalker goes down. I was going to say both Cyclones alive. However, the Stalker in the back there does find some opportunity. And another Cyclone lock on. The Stalker gets a kill, and we do not. Okay, we do get that Stalker with the Marines at least. Okay, Nikoract, I think we should be stepping aggressively into the mineral line. This is the point where you're probably not going to get many more Stalkers, but you could absolutely get some probes. Blink still not done. Oh, battery heals up a little bit. Their first energy recharge on that battery was huge. We needed a little bit of extra healing. Obviously, we got that, and we do manage, I think, actually scramble together an okay-ish defense as Geralt. I think Nicoract's Marines were actually a little bit less effective than he would have wanted them to be. I think there's a few moments where those Marines could have absolutely just targeted something better. They were hitting the gateway for a while, right? But it's that one extra thing to micro, and he's already microing the Cyclones and trying to keep them out of reach of trouble. And still say that was effective from Nicoract, because one thing that's going to happen now is you're playing this scenario where Geralt is now playing, you know, an aggressive gateway setup with the Blink Stalkers, but he's going to have way less Stalkers, so making sure you got rid of a few of those gives you a bunch more time as well. Charge coming up from Geralt, Nicoract heading into the Banshee and the Siege Tank, and a couple of Marines as well, so building up into a lot of the additional tech to potentially fire him through into the next step of this game. The other thing about Geralt is obviously thrown off a little bit. He does not have a aggressive kind of pylon or anything. He doesn't have the ability to do too much more in terms of, you know, warp prisming or anything. And these few Stalkers blink in. They got a tank pretty quickly, and they can blink out after getting a few Marines. So this was okay as well. I was going to say, let's not lose that low HP Stalker, though. Every unit's going to count for a lot. Already getting rid of a tank is a pretty big deal. As the Banshee on the other side is going to have Cloak in a moment. Now, the Robo just finished, so we do not have the Observer yet. The battery on the third base is obviously going to be low from before. The Banshee just stops between the bases for a second or two. And now is going to move into the main. There's a battery here as well, so this isn't going to do much. Mostly a distraction, hopefully pulling some units away to give you an easier path across the map. Gets a couple of kills overall. I don't know if I love it for Nikoract, because to me, he's lost himself a Banshee and a Siege Tank now in this game, and that's a lot of tech to be missing for the big push. Zealots are warping in, so we're going to have that charge available too. I just don't think this timing window here is going to do much of anything, honestly. Be careful of the Observer, though. Doesn't want to lose the Obs out of nowhere, as he's going to have Stalkers to obviously start putting some work in. We can cloak that Banshee to save it. New Observer about to show up. Puts the Banshee in some trouble. Banshee should be pulling back when you see that Observer shortly, as tanks are going to siege. Like I say, we do have access to charge dots, though. That's why I don't like this timing window anymore. I just don't think this is going to ever be enough. You're never going to get through the charge lots. I think Nikoract got a little bit too caught up on this time. And him going into, like, Stim and Combat Shield, I actually like a lot, because I actually think this has been the kind of game where from Geralt, you lost a lot. You're in a weird position. If the Terran army sits back and waits and gets to those bio upgrades, amazing. I actually think you have a lot of potential to trade, because the tech is a long way off from Geralt. But in this case, we just go without Stim, and there's just no way you make any real progress against those Zealots. And now Geralt sits up 14 workers. Now he sits in a good eco position as well. It's a good eco position as well, a lot of workers. Army's position is good. And even if the army's not made of as good stuff as it maybe could have been, he's heading to the Temple Archive, so he's going to have better stuff available soon. Scan does not even get you the Observer there. It's really a sign that this game is just going against you, unfortunately, for Nikoract. Bio regathering, a couple medevacs. We'll just be pulling back out to the front. Again, Marines and Marauders still producing through. Storm and the armor upgrade coming up from plus of shells and +1 building. Stalkers get rid of a medevac here. Taking that down. Bio stimming. One Stalker gets killed already as well. Zealot's going to get after those SCVs. Just going to have the Marines and the Marauder in some trouble too. CC wants to come down over on that right-hand side. Just going to get that placed in the next few moments. I'm actually going to clean up these Zealots quite decently, but still -5 SCVs in a game where you're already trailing on the economy is not great. And of course, we're at the point in the game where the numbers might not seem terribly far apart right now, but Geralt is about to explode in every way, basically, because he's now going to have Storm, so you're going to be able to warp in High Temple. You've got good tech option. You're going to have a lot more economy. Your gateways are kicking in. You're going to start warping in a bunch of Zealots. You don't need to add further tech. You can just really bulk up the army at this stage. So at this point, this really is where it just gets a whole lot better for you as Geralt. You know, like I say, the numbers say it's maybe close-ish right now, but beyond the numbers and the real kind of scenario of this game, it's just not close, unfortunately. It really is not. That's a lot of Zealots as the Immortal coming across. Just gonna get underneath and pick off that observer. Widow Mine's... Oh, just gonna go. First Widow Mine gets a shot off. Second Widow Mine is not gonna fire. The Bio Army will come chasing the other Stalkers down the right side. Ghost Academy finishing soon. The bunker's still coming up as well. Just gonna see the few Zealots working their way onto this bunker, getting a wrap around here. It's 9 more Zealots. There's so many Zealots. Nikoract sees the Zealot count. He's like, yep, I do not even want to try and fight it. And I do not blame him in the slightest. That is not a Zealot count you want to engage into. GG's. And we go to game 3. So deciding map once again here today in our 3rd series of this Spring Championship Group A. Heading into this in just a couple of moments. We'll kick this off onto Tidal Citadel for our 3rd map. Alright, host this up. Get this going. Should be pretty quick, guys. Everyone seems to be here and readying. So, ready. Let's go to game 3. I hate Zealots. Yeah, me too, man. Zealots are freaking just crazy good, you know? Like, Zealots are just crazy good. There's no other way to say it. They're just crazy good. Crazy good. Alright, let's jump into Tidal Citadel. Let's get this started. On the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is going to be Nikoract. Obviously took that first game. I actually think he had a lot of potential in that second game. Losing the tank to the Stalkers blinking into main was a shame. Losing that Banshee was kind of sad too. And like I say, I actually think he would have had a better chance if he just feigned the pressure but backed off and let his upgrades finish so he could really come in with like a bigger bio army and get some work going there, you know? Why +2 armor before +1 attack for Geralt? So usually, actually, armor upgrades are just very good for Zealots, and so if you're going to go as Zealot heavy as you did there as Geralt, armor is typically just seen as better. We don't see a lot of like straight Zealot Archon armies anymore, but in theory, armor upgrades are way better in that scenario, because it's so much more about your Zealots just lasting forever with the storms dealing damage than it is about your units actually dealing damage themselves, you know? So nowadays, with so many Blink Stalker openings and Blink just being such a presence in the matchup, and a lot of the times into Colossus and so, but even when you play Storm, a lot of the time you do just play attack upgrades nowadays. But you don't typically go as Zealot heavy as Geralt just was there. Usually if you're Zealot heavy, you still have a good amount of Stalkers behind it, in which case the attack upgrades are still important. But yeah, back in the day when Zealot Archon and just masses of Zealots was so much more popular, like, those armor upgrades were just the go-to pretty much every time. Because you add those armor upgrades onto those Zealots and they really do become unkillable in a lot of ways. They really do become pretty unkillable. They're pretty nutty units when they're upgraded well. Probe Nibbles at the depot. Putting some pressure in. That's the Reaper. And about there for a second as well. Stalker, Warp Gate coming online. Just going to see that Nexus building in. It's about halfway done at the moment. The Assimilator finishing through as well. Let's see the CC building from Nikoract, getting that on the way as well. That going for the moment. Marines and Zerglings are pretty notable with attack upgrades before enemy armor. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though is like typically because you can go Corona Boost in a Forge, you can outscale. So the Zealots can be super outscaled on the upgrades. Just making Zealots tanky is generally very good. Yeah, Marines obviously benefit a lot from attack upgrades because they're range units that fire quickly, so every upgrade, upgrade's really impactful on every single shot of a Marine. Obviously, Lings, again, they attack very quickly. The only downside with Lings is obviously sometimes they're not always attacking because, again, they're melee units. Kind of why attack upgrades aren't as good for Zealots, because a lot of the time they're being kited, a lot of the Zealots are stuck behind each other. But if you just have so many Zealots, then the Terran is basically forever kiting because they never die if they're armored up and they're not dying. So that's why armor is so good on the Zealots as well. Same thing as like Carapace would be really good on Lings if Lings were just naturally tankier units. The problems with Lings is they're just not tanky anyway, whereas Zealots absorb a lot of damage off a Terran army, especially when there's a bunch of Marauders in there too. Gonna be a bunch of Reaper Hellion now. We are close to a battery, but we can actually run up into this main base. There's a battery there as well. Good grenade bops the Adept back. Gonna buy us some time. The units actually took a bad turn there from Geralt. They actually went over to the edge for a little bit. 4 workers killed. Battery gonna be out of energy soon. We're gonna keep running to the right side of this mineral line, and so these probes gonna be in a lot of trouble. No, I mean the Reapers could go down to the low ground again here. I don't hate that at all. 2 Reapers on the low ground. Okay, that battery's still full of energy though. It's only going to be 5 workers. It's a lot of lost mining time because the natural did not mine for a very long time. They're pulled once again here. So actually still very effective from Nikoract. He's slowing down a lot of the income of his opponent. And he, you know, still 5 workers is 5 workers. If he keeps 1 Reaper alive, I like that a lot just for some info as to where his opponent is at. But it just got killed. Saw that on the mini-map, so it just went down. As yo, what's up, Tomar DK? Thank you so much for the 3-month resub on the Prime. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for supporting today. Does armor apply to the shield? No. Armor only applies to the actual HP bars of Protoss units, which is why armor is not great for Protoss units a lot of the time when you see bling and stuff, but it still just makes Zealots freaking tanky, is what it comes down to. So, like, Zealots have good HP anyway, so, like, even past the shield, if you're only kind of... Yeah, they're just still good, is what it comes down to. That is, obviously you've got to upgrade shields. That's why shields is an upgrade, because you can basically upgrade shields, which is essentially a second armor upgrade. Well, the battery still has good energy on this low ground, so actually this one's going to be kind of fine. These probes over here, although some of them already low. Banshee getting a bit of damage done, hopefully. Gets a bit of damage and just kind of steps out of here. Again, Nikoract, I think, would likely be looking for more of a follow-up shove. You see Geralt is going to choose to go into the Dark Templars. Now, if Nikoract can deal with those DTs very effectively, can put himself in a great position very early. So I think that's what we're looking at right now. As I can see 2 of the Banshees joining together. The Observer will spot them so we know where they are coming in from. Meanwhile, Marine tank down the left side. The Banshees into the main base. Forced to recall. Oh, the only good part of that is how quickly we're going to deal with these Banshees. That might still be a dead 3rd base though, honestly. The 3rd Nexus is not even finished building, so it's not even full HP. So I actually do think this Nexus probably just dies. Ooh, DT warping in. Do we have a scan? We're already building the missile turret. We do have a scan, so DT and the Nexus goes down. Now we're going to siege the tanks. These units are just going to commit. Obviously, the Stalkers blinked in, so they don't have a blink out. Oh, Marines get that to deny the probe looking to rebuild. Oh, Stalkers blinking toward the battery. Oh, it's still good for Nikoract, but I feel like this was... If the tanks had just already been sieged, I know he wanted maybe straight up damage output. It's funny because I actually feel like Geralt recalling for the Banshees, well, I was like, oh god, he had to recall for the Banshees, but because he did, he was so quick to clean them up. Because if you're any later coming across to this 3rd base, Nikoract is just walking home with that entire army. At least now you force a fairly favorable trade after the fact. Obviously, you know, everything else considered, it's not ideal. But at least after the fact, it was a fairly decent trade. I still think Nikoract is going to be in a great position because Geralt's going to have serious eco issues. Stimpack and Combat Shield are finishing, and we're so far away from real tech units because we built into Dark Templar that have so far done absolutely nada in this game. So yeah, I think that's going to be a big issue overall. Couple of Zealots. I'm not going to be Zealots, sorry, they are DTs. So we're actually going to take the DTs in the main and try and do something here. Marines nearby. We will preemptively scan for an Observer, but like I say, we can't just drop the DTs in. There's a scan already. Let's be careful of those, Geralt. We're not in a position to kind of just go throwing units around silly. I mean, these Stalkers pressuring is nice because it might stop Nikoract coming across the map, because Nikoract's ready to come across the map, and right now you got to buy time to get to a Colossus, I would imagine, at the very least. That is a committed stim. Force these Stalkers off to the sides. Actually, we'll be able to catch a couple as they go around the corner. Wow, not getting a kill there is kind of crazy. Nikoract going to establish his 3rd base up 30 army supply, but like I say, Geralt is improving his position. He's getting that Colossus online. You start getting some Zealot Warpins behind this, and maybe we're in a bit of a better position. Ghost Academy. Widow Mine's coming up. Vikings coming through. +1 attack coming in. And drop the CC down on the third base as well. These Widow Mines just spreading out for a little bit. The Orbital and the Vikings are coming through. The Marauders and the +1 attack upgrade coming online as well. Bringing a lot of that into place. A couple of Vikings going to be able to pressure this prison back. And the end here, I feel like Gerald has kept Nikoract far enough at home for long enough that this is looking pretty decent. Stalker's just going to shoot. A couple of those mines getting cleaned up, so a couple of those mines going down already, but a bio will continue to stim out as well. And a couple of those ghosts coming around. 1/1 upgrades coming about also. It's going to see the bio force coming down. The adept is going to get jumped on here. Bio's going to get that. Pylon going to get picked off already. A few more units coming around. The Archon going to be there. Zealot Stalker Colossus figuring out what we want to do in the next few moments. Army going back around on that left side again, getting set for a few moments here. Gonna see the army coming over. Prism is going to be settled. We are going to see Zealot Storm Colossus looking to come through. Bio will stim, pulling back a little. Widow Mines gonna hit a bunch of those zealots. To say this is where Nikoract kind of needs to actually deal with some techier units, and we actually need a Viking count. I think he was just way too passive. Honestly, like I feel like Geralt going on the map, I think, really threw him, because I think there's no way he wasn't looking to move out with his bio upgrades and everything, but then now he's actually having to fight against this proper army. The Viking count's a little bit better than it was. Ghosts are coming up as well, so we're not terribly far away, I guess, from those kicking into place. I really feel like Nicoract had such a window in this game. He did so much damage early, killing the third base off and everything. I mean, Gerald's still an issue, still has issues here, right? Realistically, the fourth base on the gold is kind of late to come online as well, so it's not like he has amazing eco in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, Nikoract just, I really felt like he had a massive window opening. DT's obviously, I guess, a threat, but that's the thing as well. That's what's even crazier. Geralt committed to Dark freaking Templar that did so little apart from being a threat in a prism. I think Nikoract could have absolutely taken a good chunk of his army down the map and just seen a lot of success. But now he's playing this bit more of a macro game. Now, we talk so much about Nicoract's success in the early game and so on. He actually still can play a very fierce mid to late game, especially when he has a lead like this still. I still think he's in a good position in this game compared to where you might usually be in a TVP. Because again, realistically, the fourth base of the Protoss is extremely late. It is in the gold base location, so it's a little bit out of position, more droppable than usual perhaps. Especially as you take a fifth on the right side, and obviously your main is on that right side as well. So there's a lot of pulling around you can do here perhaps as Nikoract in these next few moments. Gonna see the CC floating down to the low ground. Fourth base gonna be taking position for a couple seconds. Alright, going back over. So the Viking count growing in the right direction. Obviously having the Ghost coming in important, considering we're going to have storms in this army soon. We've also got to deal with the disruptors, EMPs on disruptors to help get rid of them quickly. Can be very important too. Bio being forced backward by the disruptor shots so far, being kept out of the way. Bullied around for the next couple moments, seeing if we can stabilize here. Got a couple units out in the center of the map as well. As the prism looks to come in through the top, there's a Widow Mine nearby. Doesn't necessarily have to hit that prism. And the disruptor again just going to zone. The Planetary Fortress in some trouble. Oh, he does lose the ghost to the disruptor. Now EMPs come down a little late. This Planetary is going to go down, I think. The SCV is trying their best to repair it. They stay alive for the moment. Oh my goodness, the Planetary lives. And now the Colossus are going to get chased too. I think the Vikings could go. I don't think Geralt is well enough organized to actually target down those Vikings, so I actually think the Vikings probably could have made a play there. He does clean the Prism up to the top side, mind you. Oh, that's a nasty storm. We're going to eat that full in the face. Trying to get in position again here, man. Some of those disruptors are so low and so close to being in some serious danger. Re-engaging onto his planter again. Maybe a few more SCVs should just pull into this. We need another massive storm, man. The storms have been so good coming down this ramp, and we will lose this base here as Nikoract. So without a fourth, it's going to be tough. Gerald gets the victory, as Nikoract just couldn't stop walking into those storms. And that is going to be GG. Gerald goes to 2-0 in this group. And I think Nikoract left a lot on the table in this series. I really do. I think he had a lot of chances that just did not really get capitalized on well in the end, unfortunately. All right, GG's. We'll get into our next game here, guys, and we'll be hopping over to the NA server to get ready for Geralt versus Rogue, and then Rogue versus ShoWTimE will be coming up as well. And then Rogue Nikoract will be our last match of the day. So we're halfway through the group here and looking to resume in a few moments. Yeah, I actually genuinely feel kind of sad for Nikoract on this one. I really felt like this was a game where we had the potential for Nikoract, and he just again didn't feel confident moving on the map when maybe he really should have been able to. It's that kind of thing where I think a lot of Terrans sometimes are super afraid of Protoss in certain stages of the game because they've lost so many games, right? They've lost so many games against Protoss where it's like, okay, I think I'm in a good spot. I'm going to move out, and you had like 7 Zealots, I'm just dead. And so it's like, a lot of the time that kind of mental kind of caution costs you some really good setups that I feel like in the past would have just been Protoss rolling over and dying. Now you can be losing in the game as a Protoss, and it's a good thing to move on the map because the threat of something happening to the Terran player is enough to stop them from moving across the map with, you know, 0 damage DTs, a dead third Nexus, and a bunch of worker damage early in the game in their favor. Just the Protoss being on the map with a handful of units is enough to scare them off of that kind of a situation. Yeah, kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. As we get ready for game number 1 of this next best of 3 Rogue against Geralt ZVP coming up in a few moments' time. You're watching the WardiTV Spring Championship, again part of the WardiTV 2026 series. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be taking this in-game in just a few as our first videos are starting, and we're getting that ready to rumble. So bringing that straight across and getting this on the way. Getting this started. Coolio. Couple moments to get this going. You had to use scans of DTs? You did have to use scans of DTs. But I mean, like, not that many, because he actually had DTs. He only had to use one scan on the map. He had turrets up at home. He scanned, I think he scanned for an observer at the edge of the base because he thought the Stalker was going to blink in when the Prism was there with DTs. But, like, he didn't have to use that many scans. Surprised Nikoract couldn't at least get ahead in eco and tech. I mean, I think he was ahead in eco. It was a late third from Nikoract. I mean, to me, I think the issue is that he was set up to be more aggressive in general, as Nikoract often is. And he was set up to be more aggressive only to then not actually move out. And so if you're setting up more aggressively but you don't take advantage of that, then everything else is going to start looking worse than it should, right? Which is why even more so I think that he should have been looking to get moved across the map when instead he got held back and, you know, caught in a tough spot. So yeah. Alright, let's get into this game, guys, as we get ourselves Rogue and Geralt ready to play. Big one for Geralt. He's 2-0. Win this and you are top of the group. Nothing can stop you. Guaranteed to advance. If he loses this, there is this awkward scenario where Geralt has dropped a map in both the series he's won, and that could go against him in a tiebreaker if someone else was to get to a 2-1 score. 2-1 score line. So there is a little bit of a downside there for Geralt. So a little bit of pressure on this series. Rogue ZVP is always a big question mark as well. I feel like it has been improving, but then some days it's not quite as good as you want it to be. You're going to see a couple of his EVPs back-to-back as he takes on first Geralt, then ShoWTimE in this Group A of the Spring Championship. All right, let's jump into Old Republic. Let's get this ready to go. As we have ourselves in the bottom left-hand side, kicking it off, the blue Zerg player. This is going to be a Rogue. For the first time in a day, he'll play all three of his matches back-to-back here. And we'll get to see a bunch of Rogue then in the latter half of this group. And the top right side, our Red Protoss will be Geralt. Again, 2-0 in this group right now. Can he finish it off 3-0, first place? Let's find out. Again, appreciate you all tuning in today. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying the games, once again, this is the WardiTV Spring Championship, which means that we would love it if you could take a moment to check out the WardiTV Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. 100% of everything pledged on Patreon goes directly into the WardiTV tournament prize pool, supporting the 2026 series, and allows us to keep events like this ongoing throughout the year, and giving the players as much StarCraft 2 to participate in as possible. Trying to make sure we pay out the players as best as we possibly can is always our goal here, so do check that out. Patreon is the best way to support the tournaments directly. So yeah, patreon.com/WardiTV. Appreciate if you check it out as we otherwise get set up and ready to go. Game one of this best of three, kicking off right here with Geralt in the upper right, Rogue in the lower left, and this PVZ getting ready to roll. All right, Hatching a Gas coming into this for a couple of seconds, so bringing that about for just a few moments. And see where we can take things. So, settling for a few moments here. We do have our Overlord starting at the map. Obviously the probes transferring. Nothing wild from Rogue to begin with. No proxy hatching or anything. Rogue has been quite the little proxy hatcher as of late. Couple Queens starting up. The link speed will be building. The drone's on the way too. Stalker and the probe still building out. Nexus will be finishing very soon as that Stargate begins. Stalk will just poke. Overlord will take some damage. Yeah, Queen and the Link Speed coming through. Still got a Stargate coming by. Had the couple of probes and the Warp Gate on. Let's get set here for a few moments and then this ready to go. Link speed, Queen. A few Lings in the hatchery coming about right there. Just going to see the Stalker coming around for the Overlord as well. Just going to see the Queen coming to the low ground. Just going to be getting after that Stalker for a little bit. This Overlord is going to go down. That's actually going to be a nice little grab. Supply blocks Rogue, and Rogue has a bunch of Lings on the way. About half the Link speed. It's very wild to see like a Stalker aggressively on the map for Protoss in a PvZ, so definitely a little bit of an intriguing beginning point there. Let's just have the couple Lings moving themselves back around. Also, spores building up still. Again, drones hatchery will continue to come through for a little bit and get this on the way. Stalker firing back, still got that Twilight Council coming online. Bring that in the next few moments as well. That warp gate just continue to come up here. Yeah, a few drone spore coming through. The couple Lings will stay nibbling onto the Nexus for a little while. So Nexus taking some damage as well. He's actually going to come in and get the Stalker on the wraparound. Of course, the Oracle used some of its NG early. It's also not a bad thing, right? Your first Oracle of the game has to stay back and play defensively, using its NG up. That means the Oracle can't be across the map dealing damage. And considering we opened with the Stalker here, not the Adepts, it means that we actually are going to be very, very unaffected by anything going on across the map, basically, Baz Rogue, right? There's nothing that Geralt can do that is going to work its way towards the bottom left anytime soon. So Rogue is just going to be A-okay, absolutely pure safety for him in these early stages. He's going to be in a very good position, like I said, to kind of kick this all off. As that melee upgrade continues into place here. What's the first server? This is West Central West for this matchup. Yeah, this one's West Central West. I believe the other two matches are Central West Central, but I have it written down on a sheet that I have to recheck. So I think this is Rogue server preference on this series, then the other two go the way of the Europeans just from the coin flips. Do it all preemptively so we don't have to waste time once we are starting up the games or during the day. And as you see, the few Lings and the Queens are going to be, I think, good enough to deal with these Adepts. We'll open a few of these. It's going to be an easy shutdown. We lose maybe a few Lings. Heading into the melee upgrade, which is obviously great long-term against the Blink opening, because you're going to have Lings that can fight off those Stalkers very effectively, so that's going to be a big factor. And that melee upgrade still coming through. And the drones building as we speak. And Overlord coming into place as well. Just having ourselves the Extractor and the Creep Spread continue to push out the Oracles and gather back up toward the top. A few Lings are still going to go nibbling there. Putting a bit more pressure on. Just going to be seeing the Stalker still getting after those Circlings, so picking off a couple of those. The Spire coming into place. Melee upgrade, Roach Speed, all producing. For the next few moments, again, that Spire continues to come on down. So you see Rogue's idea on what is a fairly big map, right? Old Republic as a map is pretty sizable. But yeah, kind of interesting of how many different things we're doing, because it's melee upgrade, but then we're also getting Roach Speed. We're also looking at the Spire, so it feels like Rogue is a bit fragmented in his choices. I'm interested how much he actually uses Roaches at all in this game then, because obviously you've got the Roach run, you're building Roach Speed. I wonder if he's just like, he wants to build mutas, but maybe he feels like certain attacks he might just need, like if this is a very Zealot heavy army that shows up suddenly, maybe he's going to need to build like a round of Roaches, and having the Roach Speed to micro with is just then essential. Yeah, that Storm of the Charge coming up. It's going to have the cannons building through the Nexus as well, +2 attack upgrade on the Forge from Geralt, so we bring that straight into place. That Spire is going to be finishing very shortly. The few Lings running through. Actually, Lings on the other side as well, going to wrap around those Stalkers. And this is where the melee upgrades started to do very well. No battery finish just yet. We opened a couple of Zealots, we'll keep some of the Lings busy. The choke point of the mineral line obviously helps out a lot, as the Lings are going to take the chance to run up to the high ground. Queen's got underneath the Oracles. I was going to say, I don't actually think that's going to end up well, because the Oracle's not going to go down, and they will reach an undefended mineral line because the Queens are off to the right. So that actually became a little bit more awkward than it did end up beneficial for Rogue. Yeah, Geralt's figuring out a bit of what's going on. He's going to start building Phoenix. Rogue is still pretty big on the Link production. He has got 13 mutas. I'm wondering how many more mutas he actually wants to build into here, or if he is going to start to focus on some other things. Stalkers get across, the Zergling gets picked away at. Again, the Roaches, the Flyer attack upgrade, +2 melee. Building about here as well, so bringing all of that over. The Phoenix already arriving. No damage done yet. Obviously, Phoenix can keep on chipping through those Mutalisks as they hit the mineral lines and start to kind of work on the numbers, especially if there's a couple of Phoenix here. What's interesting is if we only have 13 Mutas and now we're going to build Ling Roach and then Banes as well, can we maybe hit a scenario where you're going to be very aggressive into this as the Zerg player and your opponent is building Phoenix, and then the Phoenix not, enough? Because it's 13 meters, I don't think it's going to be all that bad just yet. Ling's running forward. He actually can trade pretty well. 19 probes have gone down over the last minute or so. It has been a big hit to Geralt's economy, so he is being forced to re-establish eco while trying to stabilize just in general. The mutas show back up. Shouldn't be able to do too much. The Stalkers are there, and they come blinking forward to play very well defensively too. So doing a great job on that. Bane speed still halfway done. The flyer attack upgrade coming online as well. Just having ourselves the mutas coming back across. Phoenix trying to fight. Hive coming through. Lings and the Bane speed coming around as well. The last few meters, like, they're going down. Obviously, at this point, Rogue's given up on these meters. They were a short-term thing. I'm surprised he built 13, considering the way he's approached this, because it feels like he was playing this to kind of... I mean, maybe he wanted more mutas, but then he was already set with the Roach speed to kind of play into, like, a non-muta kind of aspect of this game. So, I mean, 13 is just a bit more committed than, like, say, 7 or 8 to force a response. But then, obviously, 13 do a bit more damage than 7 or 8 mutas do as well. It's just, like I say, maybe a bit of a different approach to kind of what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking a lot of that kind of typical, like, I'm going to, build 7 mutas, you build, like, 3 Phoenix, and I'm going to kill you with a mass Roach follow-up. But this is obviously kind of Ling Bane focus anyway, so... Definitely some differences to the norm as Rogue. Maxed out here currently, 200 supply. Hive on the way, about to be done. Gerald's just now getting into Fleet Beacon and the second Stargate, so he can start looking at some of the techier kind of options there for himself. Couple meters getting through, just going to chase that Phoenix down for a little bit. Ling's getting caught in the stasis once again, so again seeing some success with that stasis ward. The Ling's going to run up, hit that Nexus on the top side. That'll go down pretty much immediately as well, so we knock that straight out the way. Ultra Cavern, Grey Aspire, all producing. Rogue is definitely not afraid of teching himself up in this game. Adrenal Glands as well, of course, is a very natural Hive tech upgrade to be moving into at this stage. Yeah, I think no air upgrades was maybe the thing that Indy was just looking at there, but we do start the flyer attack upgrades now, the air weapon upgrades now for the Protoss side. So we start to get the upgrades for what is going to be carriers rather than, like, Tempests. It's not really a, I guess it's not really a game that's threatening lurkers, so maybe you don't need the anti-siege aspect of the Tempest as much, and so you can actually just get straight to carriers, which can be very, much more effective against some of the other Zerg units. Microbial Shroud coming up from Rogue, giving himself that option, as the Grey Spy will be done shortly. Remember, Ultra haven't done as well. Ultra's actually really good against just actually a lot of late-game Protoss stuff, because the Ultras can really just be that kind of headbutt unit. Tempests and carriers are not going to kill them very quickly, and so, the big techie units in the sky are not denying these Ultras from just getting through and kind of trading with the ground army for a bunch of time. That's generally where a lot of the success can be found. Stalkers deny the Zerglings up top. The Roaches are going to break through into the natural, but the Force Field will stop them getting too far, so we'll not get too much done over there just yet. As the Roach is still moving around, the Stalker's in position, the Ling's getting picked off. Sentry and the High Templar still regathering, and the Roaches still getting cleaned out, as Rogue was just looking to give those up. He wanted to free up the supply, he did that successfully. He forced some force fields, he killed a couple of Stalkers. Realistically, those Roaches were not expected to do a whole much of anything, so the fact they were able to get any value, I think it's pretty reasonable. The Roaches in this game in general to me have just been kind of wild. Like, they just felt so unnecessary. He only ever built those 14. He just never really did anything. I feel like he was just super expecting some kind of big, like, Zealot-y kind of counterattack or so that just never came. Two more, and that Sentry just gonna jump onto those Lings. Banes. Trying to roll in the mineral line, actually gets saved by the Storm and the Blinken with the Stasis Ward. It's actually kind of annoying for Geralt, because now those Banes are actually going to get a chance to finish up and roll into the mineral line still. Okay, he's going to leave the Stalkers behind, but that Stalkers actually have to be left behind because of his own stasis. He had this handled. In this case, the stasis probably does more harm than it does good. Well, it's not really harm. This is still kind of nasty, as the Bane's actually going to roll through the other Stalkers and have to back it up. This time the probes go evacuating, and okay. nice defense from Geralt. This is spot on, because now you have a bunch of Banes committed in, and all they did was hit a few Stalkers. They blink away, they don't die. 3 probes go down. Very manageable amount of losses compared to the Baneling investment that Rogue just set out. Rogue is taking over the map with creep spread. So a lot of creep on the map from Rogue. We got a few more Banes morphing in here. After Ravager. Going to continue through. A few Corrosive Bowels going to force the Stalkers, the Oracles, and the Carriers back for a second. Again, there is the Mothership coming up, plus 2 air weapons building as well. And on a shield upgrade to everything else too. The Ling's just going to drop in from these Dropper Lords, going to get straight into place here. Ravager's going to throw a few Corrosive Bowels down. We just try and jump at these carriers. We are going to begin to build the Corruptors behind this. And the Ultras are going to keep going forward as we have just knocked down a lot of probes. These Lings still in the natural just killed a High Templar as well. I mean, any tech unit you get rid of is going to be a major plus. Unfortunately, I think the shield upgrade is going to finish before the Lings get the better of those Forgers. Geralt lost a lot here. The only thing that Rogue didn't have a lot to deal with was maybe air units to deal with the carriers. He landed some good Corrosive Bowels, but now you can see the rebuild for him. The priority is Corruptors and Vipers. So you prioritize Corruptors and Vipers here. You get up an anti-air force, you can deal with the carriers. Sorry, I had to beat up to sneeze for a second. Yeah, you got the Corruptors and Vipers, and obviously the anti-air army then becomes much more apparent, and then you can really deal with this a whole lot better and a whole lot more easily as well. Corruptors running through. Phoenix is just going to be shooting. Corruptors play the cleanup over there. The Drop Lords still spreading that creep. Voids plus 2 air weapons, and the Prismatic alignment coming online as well. Bringing that all up. For the moment. A few more Banes is getting morphed in. Again, plus 3 Carapace, plus 2 missile attack upgrades. Have ourselves the Flyer Carapace coming through as well. And these Ravagers still hitting through the front. Cannon's taking a bunch of damage. Again, a couple more carries going through. These Ravagers are going to give themselves up. Rogue is on the right side of the map in the natural as well, putting some work in, by the way, with these Dropper Lords. Feelings burrowed up over here. Geralt will get to defense pretty easily. Now we're going to morph in a ton of Brood Lords. Wow. I'm kind of surprised we're going to Brood Lords, because that, to me, takes a bunch of this anti-air out of the game already. Usually you want to win a big fight in the skies, and then with your remnants of your Corruptors, build Brood Lords. Especially because this is no laughing matter, right? You know, this is, you know, a Mothership, 4 Carriers, 2 Voids. We only have like 5 Corruptors in the game, I guess, 10 more in production. Rogue again running by and borrowing those Zerglings to give himself a chance to stay active and to stay aggressive here against this Protoss army, and just to kind of keep Geralt on the back foot, keep Geralt at home, stop Geralt from doing too much overall. Again, 5 more Infestors coming up, the Carapace upgrade, the plus 2 missile upgrade all building. This is going to be Corrupted Brood Lords still gathering in the center of the map and deciding what we want to try and do next. So trying to play a wraparound on these Ultras. The Ultras are going to be there, and the Zealots get turned the other way. Ultra's obviously pretty good against Zealots. Usually when the Zealots get a good wraparound on like an Ultra, it can be okay, but yeah, in this case, not really doing too much as we chase that around the other direction for a couple of seconds. Nidus. I'll just be running through, just going to be seeing the recall in on the carriers. But I mean, this is, again, just annoying for Geralt because you're using defensive cooldowns such as recall on something as minor as like a Nidus and a handful of Zerglings. It just opens the door. Like, if you have too many of those defensive cooldowns on cooldown, then, you know, that opens the door to some bigger attack or some bigger moves from Rogue really seeing success, you know? Broods are going to jump forward. A couple of those cannons getting knocked down here. Seeing a lot of those being picked away at. Another Nidus back into the main base. Brood Lords actually doing very well for themselves initially, getting some good value right in the middle of the map already. This time a couple of Ultras pop out of this Nidus, and while the Void show up and will clean this up, I actually kind of love that we burrowed up an Ultra, but there's an Observer there, so, and the cannon. Geralt didn't realize it though, because I guess an Ultra hiding in the ground next to the Knights is kind of invisible. He did come back and clean it up there, though in the end, wondering what his cannon was shooting. He does handle it. So the Ultras go down. Still, though, again, just nice distractions. Don't get me wrong, Ultras are not cheap to just throw away, but a bit of value here and there adds up. Nice fungal. Got a high tempo because of it. Yoinking the carriers in as well. Man, Rogue is showing us some proper late game kind of control here. He's looking very comfortable. He's keeping these Broodlords very well controlled. And you think back of Rogue in his career, and obviously, yeah, it's very easy to think of all the, well, Rogue did this, he cheesed Zest in that finals, and he's always been this kind of wild player. But one of the things that always made Rogue great is pretty much you had to be, if you're at the level of someone as Rogue, you have to be able to play late game when it gets to that scenario. You can't forever dodge the late game with fun builds and cheeky stuff. Not at the level that Rogue played at for years upon years. This has been some solid later game control out of Rogue, just harassing everywhere, keeping great control in the middle of the map with the Broods and the Corruptors, and finding a lot of good value trades against this Protoss army, and really giving himself like a really solid shot at just this matchup right now. Like, I mean, like, I liked how this game was going for Rogue anyway. I actually got a bit scared when he built the Broods, just because Broods so often feel like the one and done, like, okay, this is my Brood push, and they're dead, and I just lost a lot of stuff, and I don't recover. But actually, like, he's been so good with the Broodlords that it's not felt like that at all. He's made these Broodlords feel like extremely effective. This is obviously, in part, the lack of tempers from Geralt initially as well. Right? Because he went carriers, you can kind of get to Broods. The thing is, if you go Broods and the guy has 6 tempers, Broodlords start getting one shot. But the Protoss army has not had the range to really deal with those Broodlords super well. So even then, smart choice from Rogue, and like I say, still controlled this army very well. As the Archon's stepping forward. Just going to be seeing a couple carriers staying active, interceptors flying through. Lings +3 miss, yes, +3 missiles, but also +3 flyer attacks is the main thing I want to point out. So getting those Corruptors even stronger still over the next minute or so. Spores are going to push up as well, so we're going to have a little bit of extra defense here. The top left base attempt from Geralt is going to be tough. It's really drawn out from the rest of his base, and obviously right now it doesn't have static defense on it, so if Rogue can successfully deny the top left, that would be massive in the long term. There's a little bit of harass over there right now. Doesn't do too much. Probes that are going down mostly the front. The wall is open. The Zealot Warping is late, and so those Lings are into the main, into the natural. I mean, there's not much left in this main, but 2 of your Stargates are here. Your Fleet Beacon is here, so... And the Temple Arcade, I mean, actually, there's not a lot of, like, straight-up, like, amount of structures here, but there's a lot of important structures there. Good Fungals on the high ground. High Templars are getting low from those fungal growths. As now we see the Carriers still pushing through, the Archons, Immortals, and the Voids coming to the low ground as well. Spores, the Broodlords, the Corruptors gathering back. A couple of Infestors looking to get forward again. Another Fungal coming down. Parasitic Bomb landing onto this air army as we are looking to wipe this out. The Corruptors making the dive forward. We are going to see the Corruptors all getting on through, picking off those carriers. We are going to keep going through the Broodlords as well as we continue to chase this. And this is going to be 5 more Ultras producing at the moment. The Broods are still stepping forward. On we go for now. Just going to be seeing the Mothership still activate, and a few Tempests are chasing up as well. Infestors are going to be there. The Broodlords are going to drop down a few more Broodlings. They actually drop a couple of Neuroparasites onto the Tempest just to help fight off the Mothership, and that's going to get it done. Rogue, really solid later game kind of style here from him as he takes this game 1 down. A Rogue who, even more often than usual lately, has been all about that early game and the mid game and the proxy hatcheries. Shows his complete and total confidence in a game that, yes, he had control of from the start, but kept that confidence and kept that level of control going into the latest set of units as well, which I think is particularly the very notable thing there. GG's and well played from Rogue going to Tourmaline for map 2 right now. Alrighty. Alright, readying up from Rogue. Just need Geralt to join us here. Get this set in a second, guys. Alright, ready. Play the set. Let's send it into game number 2 here and see what's going to happen. Alright, let's get this kicking off into Tourmaline. Let's get this one rolling. In the top right hand side, we're going to have ourselves the red Zerg. This is going to be Rogue. He has got the 1-0 lead. Up against Geralt in the bottom left. Our blue Protoss player. Game number 2 of Series 4 here today. WardiTV Spring Championship Group A. Group B tomorrow. Seeding groups over the weekend. We have got the next 4 days of StarCraft 2 locked up for you guys. And into next week as well. As we obviously go into next week with WardiTV Mondays. And a whole lot more fun action coming up there as well. So lots going on over the course of this one. Boost on our Nexus. First few moments. Not much for me to yap on about. How's everyone doing? Everyone is having a good day. Broodlords are bad just because of that. I think the main issue with Broodlords is that usually the issue with Broods is that they're very much so like they either commit to their fight, which Protoss can answer, or they never commit to a fight and they're never really present in the army because they're always like trailing behind, right? Broodlords can have their uses, and I think in this case, in that last game, it was the perfect time to go for Broods earlier than usual because Geralt was not really set for them at all. And so the Broods got a lot of value over a lot of time, but so often in PvZ, you will see this build of Broodlords and they can do okay, but across the course of one larger fight, like, they just do simmer out without really, you know, doing a lot sometimes. And a lot of the time, it's just because they're also just picked apart over the course of multiple setups because the Protoss can move around. So yeah, I think Brood's such an interesting unit. Broodlords have had a lot of changes over their times as well because they're a unit which, like I say, they're kind of interesting, they kind of work in weird ways. And trying to make them... they're one of those units where if you make them really good, it almost feels like they're too good. And then if you make them make them not too good, they very quickly fall off because they can be played around so much. So you almost have to make them too good to make up for when they... to make up for how they can get played around. It's just a very odd unit in general, I suppose. And the Queen here, the Adept gathering up, Overlord overhead, Void Ray, Adept, Warp Gate, all coming into place. For a few moments right now. Things will chase you, but Chamber does not get up in time. And drones need to get off the Adepts to give the Link some space to actually do some better damage. We'll lose 3 workers in mining time, obviously. Not ideal, but you know, I'll say it could have been worse, right? At the end of the day. It could have been a little nastier. Well, drones and the Queens continue to come about. I'm just going to see the next and a couple probes. The Oracle coming through as well, so we got ourselves all settled. With the Lings just poking on the other side, they'll look for some damage. Last game we had a lot of the Lings finding damage very early on as well. Now we're going to get the Twilight Council started from Geralt. That part's not really too surprising. What I am wondering about is if we're going to see a melee upgrade from Rogue again, or just a completely different kind of pathway for him. Tourmaline's not really as much of a Mutalisk map, so I feel like Mutas are going to be much harder to kind of commit to in this one, so would imagine that we maybe stay clear of the Mutas and the Spire, and so in this case, Let's see what we do. I mean, roaches are definitely a bit more of a possibility on Tourmaline. A map where, like I say, sometimes that more aggressive pushing from the pros can come a bit sooner, so the roaches are a much safer option in that regard. I see the drones and the Overlord coming about for a little bit, so bringing that up. Resonating Glaives and the Forge and the Probes all building through. Take a few moments here as we just have those couple lings coming back the other way. Again, Lair coming about. Drones and the lings all producing. The Void Ray going to get there, taking that hatchery down. Is going to be a nice little start, just slowing down the fourth base. Anything you can do to slow a Zerg down is generally going to be seen as a pretty big positive. Going to see this hatchery pushing to the front. And yeah, Resonating Glaives coming through as well for a little bit as well. A few of those Adepts going to keep shading about. It's a lot of Adepts to deal with. Hydrogen would be really nice to help with this, but obviously it's just not ready yet. It's a good amount of lings. We will start some roaches up as well. This hatchery is going to go down. Obviously, this is Glaives. Ooh! This is a really nice catch, actually. Those lings get a surround on the Adepts, and the Queens are nearly going to get rid of the Void Ray. Now, this was actually a really bad shade from Gerald. He just committed forward with those Adepts, and the lings are right there on creep. The Adepts got split up, which means you get the full surround on a bunch of those units. Using the Spore as a wall off there as well. Very cute. That was a very good cleanup for Rogue, who felt underprepared for those Glaives, and obviously the fourth hatchery took a bit of a beating again, but still alive. But yeah, those Adepts going down the way they did. I mean, if they stay clumped into a mineral line and those lings try and deal with them, the lings melt and drones start to die after it, and it's going to take even longer to get roaches out. Roaches are then very immobile. They're not in range of the Adepts a lot of the time. You know, it takes a long time for roaches to chew through Adepts, but this was the dream for Rogue, getting the wraparound and forcing the Adepts to split up so we can get a bunch of full surrounds and kill their numbers off quickly. Like I said, Gerald has just been able to keep that Void Ray alive as well throughout this, so just about able to keep that up and running. As again, see the blink coming through, the +1 attack upgrade coming up as well. Continue to get that going. Rogue is going to shoot. Hatchery didn't go down. The fourth base, this forward location has been the biggest issue of all, I think, for Rogue so far. As for now, this hatchery doesn't die. Hydras are going to be popping out, so we actually do have a bit more damage output. Obviously, this is not Blink just yet, but Blink will be ready in a second, so these Stalkers are going to be kind of fine. As the Broodlings, the Roaches, and the Hydras just chasing, the Stalkers get chased out of here, pushed back. And again, the Roaches and a couple of Hydras starting to come through. Going to keep chasing off creep even. So Rogue actually keeps moving. Is he going to extend this all the way across the map? No, he kind of stops here. I mean, all the way across is not very far when you consider the size of Tourmaline and the layout of it, so definitely makes that a bit more interesting as well. Stalker's pushing up to the left. We will see a couple of cleanups going down. Creep Tumor and the Ling going down as well. Continue to push on forward right now. +2 attack and charge. Building also. Just going to see those Lings get a wrap around into some of these Stalkers. Hydras and Ravagers getting reach, and these Stalkers are not trading well against these high damage output units. As the Lings are looking to just basically punish these Stalkers, stopping them from retreating easily, forcing them to stop and letting the Hydras and Ravagers get back into reach. Explosive Battles to help knock down some of the stack defense a bit more quickly. And do we have enough damage output here from Rogue to just keep going? Now the Stalkers can blink back defensively while continuing to fight. It's going to get interesting. The Zealots with no charge across the map are going to get dealt with pretty easily, all things considered. And this base of Geralt is in some serious trouble. Rogue was not wrong to keep shoving across the other side here. He is going to get to the other side, and he is looking good. Hydras and Ravagers still settling. Another Zealot or so going down. And it's just going to be one more Zealot getting picked off for the moment. A few Stalkers still getting chased away. Roach Hydra continue to hit those Stalkers for a few more seconds. Another round of Zealots getting warped in at the moment. These Hydras are just shredding the Stalkers. Can't keep themselves alive. GG. Rogue will stop Geralt from having the perfect run. It's a big step one for Rogue, because that means his chance of a perfect run and first place in this group is open. And yeah, Geralt is actually really hinging on this next match already, because if ShoWTimE beats Rogue, there is a very high possibility that ShoWTimE finishes ahead of Geralt. If Rogue beats ShoWTimE, Geralt will be guaranteed to advance from this group, and it is going to be Rogue ShoWTimE up next for us here, guys. So we'll get Rogue and ShoWTimE ready to start. Rogue getting the 2-0 there for a longer game, a bit of a faster game. Kind of the fast game brought through because of his opponent, though. Like I said, I mean, it was aggressive glaives. Rogue gets set up, is able to respond to that in the end. And get ready now for game number 1 of our 5th best of 3 of this day, of this Group A in the WardiTV Spring Championship, guys. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you for just enjoying some games as we make our way into this next matchup. Alright, waiting for Rogue and ShoWTimE to ready up. ShoWTimE, Rogue actually gets first veto, so you can start that in a second. Again, hope everyone is good. Hope everyone's having a good time with the games today. It's actually been a pretty fun group so far. Getting into the nitty-gritty of it now, where we figure out where people will be ending up. So yeah, I believe Geralt is going to be 4-4 in map score. And ShoWTimE is already, so he's going to be +0 map score. Same amount of maps won as maps lost. Whereas ShoWTimE is going to be +1. So any win for ShoWTimE would put him ahead of Geralt on map score, and so would put him ahead of Geralt in this thing. And now that doesn't eliminate Geralt, because if Rogue lost to ShoWTimE, he could also lose to Nikoract, and then Geralt and ShoWTimE could both be players who advance on through. So there's, like I say, a lot of situations that can arise from this upcoming match. And get this ready to go in just a few moments. We have our first videos down. Taito Citadel, Mothership, and Winter Madness taken out. Let's see Taito and Winter Madness gone. Take some of the super popular maps out of here early. I guess Old Republic's very popular in PvZ as well, though. It's one that's not as popular elsewhere. Sometimes you see Celestial a good amount in PvZ too. Let's see what the next video is going to be from Rogue. Is ShoWTimE just videos White Rabbit. We don't think we've seen White Rabbit all day, actually. So, yeah, White Rabbit taking a backseat as well. Tourmaline also vetoed by Rogue. Two, three, four, five. So one more veto from ShoWTimE. We've got Old Republic, 10,000 Feet, Celestial Enclave, and Ruby Rock as the choices for this veto. Ruby Rock was the last veto. So map pick in a second, guys. Start to get this on the way. Say Rogue will be the first to pick a map, so his choice. Decide what we want to do here. 10,000 feet to start us off. Alright. Gonna leave us with Old Republic as map 2, and then Celestial Enclave for 3. Perfect. That works. Let's lobby link it up, and let's see ShoWTimE and Rogue get the business here on 10,000 feet to start this series off and get it all working out. Drag them into position. Some races set here. Go, 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 GL. GG, says Rogue. Waiting for ShoWTimE to give us the same go-ahead nod. And we can kick off. Ready, GLHF. Perfect. Thank you for your patience between the matches, guys. Sometimes it just takes a few moments to get those videos in. But we are set and going. Oh, I got to click start already. I was like, wait, where's the game stand? Did I mute it? Just didn't click the button. I misclicked, must have. So just clicked off to the bottom of it or so. The mouse accuracy in this old age. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Alright, let's jump into 10,000 feet. Let's have ourselves on the bottom right side. The red Zerg is going to be Rogue. He takes on the blue Protoss. In the top left corner of the map, we've got ShoWTimE. Found the probe coming up. Take a couple moments, get ourselves settled in. Game number 1 of this series. Big one, like I say. Rogue win here guarantees himself and Geralt through this group. A ShoWTimE victory here would guarantee ShoWTimE through the group and leave Geralt and Rogue still scrapping based on the Rogue and Nikoract series, which would come after this. Obviously, Nikoract still has something to play for too. His map score could maybe make it a 3rd place finish instead of a 4th place finish. And that's actually also very important because that's different amounts of prize money available. It's a really fun clash of styles when you think that Rogue is typically this very aggressive aggro player and ShoWTimE is that the wall. You know, he is the wall and he is the defensive player that draws us out into later stages of games and everything. She has me kind of intrigued how this plays out overall as that Nexus comes up. Cybercore coming through. Just going to be seeing the hatch in the pool coming into place for a couple of moments. So Overlord hits the upper left side. Just kind of that Cybercore coming into play. Simulator coming into position. Again, Nexus coming about halfway through. I'm just going to be seeing the pylon settling in to position as well. Spraying this all up. And this on the way through here for the moment. And that's going to be the Adept Chrono boosting out of that warp gate, so bringing that straight along. Again, Probe and the Adept coming through. A couple Queens and the Link Speed coming up as well. Zerglings will continue by just for the moment. And yeah, the Link's coming about. Stargate producing. Nexus, Adept. Company coming online as well. So again, bringing a lot of that into place just for the moment. Who has the better server here? ShoWTimE has Central for map 1. It'll go Central, West Central. It's pretty even though. I think not too bad a ping difference between the players, so should be pretty even overall. But it's slightly favored to ShoWTimE. As Rogue just sets a few links to the top side, waiting to maybe bring those around, get them involved in some way for the moment. Wings will fire, couple probes begin to drop, 2 3 workers going down already. Okay, the Lings are happening. It's only about 4 probes going down, so actually pretty successful as the Adept tries to play cleanup from those Lings that sneak in. Oracle still building by, that warp gate coming up for a couple moments. Continue to bring this through for a little bit as we do see the Lings going to run at the front. Going to get to the Adept as well. We've seen a couple of Lings will continue to move about. The Oracle still building up on the Stargate, so again, getting that ready to go for a couple moments. Bringing that straight through. Oracle pulls off over to that right side. The few lings are going to be there. The Adept's going to step forward as well. Take a few seconds. Some of this pressure on. And drones and the Queen's coming through. The couple lings are going to keep moving around as well. Looking good there for the moment. Twilight Council will be building. Nexus coming up. Oracle's taking a few more shots. Just going with the Queens there again, pushing those Oracles around for a little bit. Getting some more damage done. Twilight Council and the Nexus. And the Forge continue to build into place. A couple of Adepts will continue by. And again, the Assimilator of the Oracles will continue to produce. The Queens are just going to get underneath and they're going to get after and kill off an Oracle. ShoWTimE -1 Oracle very quickly. He gets a couple drones. Obviously, losing an Oracle is kind of sad. Oracle's so much value to be had in this matchup. So much pressure they can apply just by being out and about on the map. So much information they can gather. Obviously, Stasis Wards are amazing tools defensively as well a lot of the time in these scenarios. So, look at that there as these Adepts are going to keep shading by into this natural. Got a few more drones, so this is going to be ShoWTimE at least adding up for a little bit more damage. He is target firing workers as well, I believe, so he's ignoring the lings, focusing primarily on killing drones. And that is going to bring Rogue down below ShoWTimE's work account. So Rogue is definitely going to be held back economically. And then you've got yourself, you know, Lair on the way up just now from Rogue, so it's going to be a while until any kind of tech kicks in for him. ShoWTimE has an Oracle defensively too. I love that. Use the energy recharge super early, just puts it on cooldown. Give that Oracle energy, make sure it's got plenty to work with, and just get that energy recharged, like I say, on cooldown. The more frequently you use it, the more you're going to get out of it. No point using it only when you need it, because, you know, you could have already had a beefed up Oracle, and then maybe the next energy recharge can go somewhere different that's more needed in the moment. All the Zerglings coming around. We just have the, again, charging the +1. Still moving over for a little bit. See those lings moving around. Temple Archives, the Robo Facility coming up. So ShoWTimE going to give himself a couple of options there. See those Zerglings still stepping across into this forward base. Taking position. The Oracle activating. Zerglings take damage. Spire coming up as well. And again, additional drones. And the Overseer coming through. The Zerglings will make their way around. And yeah, Robo Facility and those gateways will just continue to produce at the moment as well. Spire also just coming into play. And the assimilators will sell. Cannons coming up. Get that all underway for the moment. Player's going to run back to the front just there. Geralt, the Stalker, and the Archon will regather. And just have the Oracle again pushed back by the Queen again. And just have the +1 attack upgrade also producing through. Well, it's the Archon just going to be there for a second. So again, pushing that group of lings back. Storm wouldn't be on the way from ShoWTimE. Obviously, pretty major factor for these later stages typically as well. Let's see, the Ling's going to run forward. A couple of Zelds, and the Archon getting caught. Ooh, Ling's on the other side, so these units actually going to be in a lot of trouble all of a sudden. Just going to be seeing the Archon taking some more hits. No, the Archon going to show up. We actually get away with these units. Obviously, should have an Oracle or two to help him back out of here. There's the Prism as well, showing up a little bit late for those Archons, unfortunately. Would have been nice to have them a little earlier on to help us along the way. So that's going to be there. The Zergling's still getting pushed back. Did ShoWTimE see the Spire? I can double check that for you guys. Nope, he does not see the Mutas. So ShoWTimE may be in a bit of bother here because obviously he's very Zealot heavy. He's getting Storm at least, but yeah, these Mutas may cause a bit of trouble for him. He might end up in a lot of trouble in the next few moments, so let's see. Mutas around that left side. Just going to see the couple of Oracles pushed away. Mutas into the main. Cannon going to be hitting the Overseer. The Mutas going to get thrown to this pylons. -2 gateways immediately. It's a pretty big deal. ShoWTimE. This is rough. He's not in a position to push and to punish. He's going to lose another 2 gates of production. And he just doesn't have the anti-yet to responsibly come across and deal with these Mutas right now. Like, an Archon is the best he can really provide. The Archon gets a nice volley off, and that's about it. So really not great as the Mutas are going to sit on this mineral line as well. And ShoWTimE finding himself caught off guard by these Mutas, and they are going to get in there early to get some real hard work done. Yeah, this is brutal. Mutas just going to be way too much. ShoWTimE not prepped enough for those in the slightest, and that will be GG. For game number 1, Rogue is going to take the opening game of this ZVP. get himself up by a map and into this game 2 in a couple moments' time. Alright, so we'll get ourselves set into a second game here. Get this started up for you guys. What's that map going to be? Old Republic. Alright, well, definitely need to be careful of mutas on this map, because this is definitely, I think, a map Rogue likes to play the mutas on. And it's a bit bigger as well, so maybe arguably even better for those mutas too, so we shall see what happens as we host this up. I'll bring this in a second, guys. ShoWTimE to join us here and we get this ready to go. Alright, ready GG, says Rogue. Waiting for ShoWTimE to give us the go-ahead as he is now in a must-win position. Remember, he is out of this group if he loses this game. So for ShoWTimE, this is do or die time. As we go to Old Republic. I feel like with Oracle's Obs and Hallucinations, Tosh should never be taken off guard by this. Well, that's like saying, yeah, if you have all of the things that allow you to scout, but like you don't always have oracles and obs and hallucinations, because a lot of the time in PvZ you're going to build oracles, in which case you don't need a hallucinate because that's what the oracle provides, and you don't have a robo because you have a Stargate. So it's not like you have all of these scouting opportunities at the same time. And don't forget, this is a game he lost one of his oracles early, so he does lose a little bit more of that poking potential for information. So that kind of has an impact on your ability to scout to some extent as well. Similar coming down, pylon, probe, setting up for a couple moments. Get this up and running. ShoWTimE and Rogue game number 2 with Rogue on that 1-0 lead in our best of 3. At the end of the day, the Zergs also know one of their main things in these scenarios is to defend the scouting, right? So it's not like you're just able to fly around with the Oracle and constantly revelate and see everything. Like, the Zergs are constantly working to position themselves in a way that can push you away from that situation, right? So yeah, like I say, it's tough because if the Zerg is actively working against you, seeing what's going on, then yeah, it's hard to know what's going on sometimes. You know, another 30 seconds and not seeing anything, and maybe ShoWTimE gets suspicious as well, right? Because then you'd really expect Hydras to start be spawning out in case it was Lingbane Hydra or so. But yeah, seeing the Spire itself really is the best guarantee you can get there. That's up 1-ill Alex. Thank you so much for the 8-month resub. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing great today. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you for subscribing. On a 3-month streak. Hell yeah. Thank you for supporting the channel and the StarCraft 2s. Appreciate it. Again, guys, I'll say it again. This is a WardiTV event, which means that if you guys are enjoying, these events happen because of your guys' support. Whether that's a sub, whether that's a follow, whether that's a like on the YouTube and a sub on the YouTube. Even if it's just using your Prime sub, whatever it is, it helps us to do more of this content in the future. So make sure you hit us up with any support that you can. Like I say, these WardiTV events do not happen without you guys getting behind them. So thanks so much for watching. A reminder that you can obviously support. And a hatchery here that is going down to these couple of zealots. ShoWTimE just plays the double gate defense against a forward hatchery. Absolutely fine. He's going to have 2 zealots and 2 adepts he can go across the map with, which is almost always effective. I don't like that probe being nearby because the broodlings obviously could become a little dangerous. Not really a factor here, though. It's going to be okay. We can kill the lava, so nothing will pop from that either. And we're all fine for now. See the Oracle moving around for a couple seconds then, so we get that set here for a moment or two. I see Lane's actually wrapping around a couple of these adepts. Actually going to see some success, so picking those off, clearing that out. Gonna see the couple drones going down. So let's be building through. Like I say, these 2 Adepts and 2 Zealots, they're made because of the proxy hatchery, and then, you know, it kind of invites you as the as the pros player to come across the map and to try and get something done, which we do an okay job of here so far. A couple of Adepts are negotiating around. We actually do grab a drone, which is nice, so +1 there as well. And again, just being annoying with units that you were kind of forced to make to help defend against the proxy hatchery effectively. It's really awkward because you're without a 3rd hatchery still here as Rogue. It's becoming a bit of a problem the longer that this goes on. You kind of are meant to have a 3rd base, so yeah, this is actually becoming a little bit more of an awkward situation than maybe typically would be. Where the units get around the back there. It's going to be gathering up. The Queen going to be firing. The Adept takes some damage. The Ling's going to wrap around. The Adept's taking a few more shots. And again, Oracle and Twilight Council continue to build through. 4 drones going down just initially. So 4 workers dropping. Again, Twilight Council halfway done as of right now. So you got Twilight Council and the gateways keep producing through. 6 drones dead at the moment. And yeah, a couple gates coming about and get set up. I see those Lings running at the front. 6 drones is really nice though, and a late 3rd hatch as well. Rogue is in trouble this game. I kind of like the Resonating Glaives. To me, that's taking advantage of, you know, Rogue being in a not-so-great position, plain and simple. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking advantage of that, to be honest. I think that's absolutely a correct kind of response here, initially. Get that Glaives up, put some pressure on it, and because Rogue's just not played like a really clean game so far, you kind of push him into, like I say, this very awkward spot now, where he's got to figure out what his exact approach of this is going to be. 2 more drones going down as well. So yeah, this Glaive is going to be tough to deal with, especially now he's going to go melee upgrade, so that's not exactly going to help you out either here as Rogue. So yeah, 3 and through, you're actually just ending up in some trouble over these next few moments. ShoWTimE Eco isn't great either. That is true. Obviously, you do have to delay the Nexus originally. I mean, ShoWTimE is down 8 workers. I just feel like Rogue is being thrown back a bit, and I do think he struggles against this Glaives. Now, he does see the amount of Adepts, so he gets the Scout. He's already building the Roachron, and that should mean that he can get himself up into some Roaches to help, but will they be in time? I think these Adepts are going to arrive as the Roachron is finishing, which is, yeah, not great for, you know, the guy who needs to be building Roaches, essentially. Adepts move out to the front, just going to see them going to shade forward for a couple seconds there, the Queens. And she's going to be losing one of those straight away. That's the issue, using the Queens on the defense. As they do shade in, a little bit spread out on these Adepts, so decentish surface area available for these Lings, and these Lings are going to get clean up. Wow. Just, it wasn't quite as bad of a split on those Adepts as what happened between Rogue and Geralt, but it's a similar idea where as long as you just get this little wraparound of Lings on the Adepts, and they're not just, all these Adepts are not just clumped up in like a choke point or so, you really can see some better trades, essentially. So now some Lings are going to go poking on the front, and Stalker going to be taking some damage as well, so a few shots coming in off that. Blinking a couple of Adepts continue through. The Lings are going to continue into the mineral line. 4 more probes being killed off so far. The Adepts and the Zealots continue to fire, as we are going to be seeing the melee upgrade coming about. Roaches and the Queen coming into place. The Overlord speed reducing as well. And again, just going to see those Lings continue to go through. 5 more probes picked off already. At the moment, just see those Lings do indeed end up going back the other direction. And Drop Lords are now producing through, so bring those Drop Lords into place. Lings and Roaches still producing. You know, we're going to have our Forge and our Probes producing by as well. A couple of Stalkers being added on into, just for the moment. And there is the Drop Lord loading up a bunch of Queens, so we are going to see Rogue looking to get aggressive on the follow-up to obviously what was a big commitment to Adepts. Now, we're not far away from having Blink. That's a major step in the right direction for ShoWTimE. The ability to kind of trade efficiently with that Blink is absolutely huge in this scenario. The Temple Archives is also going to be major for him if he can get units up. The question is, does he have units to make use of any of this? Having Blink but 4 Stalkers isn't going to do you many favors, right? Having a Temple Archives but never being able to morph an Archon is not going to do you any favors. So let's see. ShoWTimE is also going to have... this is really nice from Rogue. The double drop a lot into the natural is going to force the split of units because ShoWTimE does not have a lot of stuff. So being forced to split up defensively is going to make this even tougher for him. Dealing pretty well with the attack on the front so far. Those lings in the natural where the damage starts to come from. And now the Ravagers start to overrun at the front. And GG is called. ShoWTimE gets eliminated from the tournament as Rogue will guarantee himself a playoff... well, not a playoff position, but a Group Stage 2 position. And he will play Nikoract to see if he can get first place or second place, which will be a bit of a seeding difference. Not going to be too big of a deal overall. I think both Group Stage 2 groups are going to be tough, but a little bit of better seeding is never going to go amiss either. All right, unfortunately for ShoWTimE and for Geralt, the CVPs were not meant to go their way. We'll head ourselves into Nikoract Rogue to wrap this up. One last match today then, guys. Just like that. Again, thank you for joining us for some WardiTV Spring Championship action. Guess what? We're back tomorrow. We're back on Saturday. We're back on Sunday. Let's take a look at what's coming up in the Spring Championship while we get these videos sorted out. So, again, once more, Saturday and Sunday is the seeding groups. Saturday, you can watch Hero, Zaun, Beyond, and Classic go to war in PvP and PvT to see who gets to... I mean, these groups are massive as well. Massively important. First place starts in the upper bracket semi-finals of the competition, which is just crazy. That is top 6 of the tournament guaranteed if you just win your group. Now, that winning these groups is obviously very hard, but yeah, first place of these seeding groups goes straight in over there, so you get top 6 guaranteed, and then second place will go into the playoffs in groups in round 1, where third and fourth place will go into Group Stage 2, which is what the players are playing from Group Stage 1 to get to as well. So this is going to be Saturday, Hero, Zaun, Beyond, and Classic. Sunday, Shin, Solar, Max Pax, and Clem. My goodness, that sounds like a juicy group of StarCraft 2. That sounds amazing. So that's going to be awesome. Over on Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow, we've got Group B of the competition, which will be Christiana, Mana, Kua, and Trigger. And Group C of Group Stage 1 will happen a week from today on Thursday with Skilla, Strange, Lambo, and Ryung. And we'll be sorting out the Group Stage 2 stuff a bit further down the line, but that'll be at the beginning of June. And then obviously later for next week as well. So next week we basically start out with the WardiTV Mondays. After this Spring Championship weekend, Kung Fu Cup action, more Spring Championship, and then the Maestros of the Game stuff starts up over the next weekend as well. So we'll be starting to cover a bunch of that, which is why the Spring Championship doesn't run over next weekend, because the Maestros of the Game stuff does run over next weekend. So that's what's going on. What do I think about lower work account start? I think it's stupid. I 100% stand by any lower work account start is just bad. Less workers at the start of the game slows the game down. So, to me, it's one of two things, right? So, if you reduce the worker start enough for it to be significant, it just slows the early game down, and it's bad. It is worse than... It's exactly what happened, like... The game got better in Legacy of the Void with higher work account starts. You can't change my mind on that. Now, you may say, well, what if we don't take it down like too dramatically? What if we take it to 10 or to 9? And then I say, like, that's cool and all, but then for such a minimal difference, is it even worth messing up years upon years of content and builds and guides and timings and understandings of how the game works for the sake of the benefits, which is like at that point, like, to me, I don't even think there's a benefit starting at 10 work instead of 12, you know? So yeah, I'm very against it. I don't think lower work starts are good. Yeah, and I never will. Because I also casted a bunch of 6 worker start games in Legacy of the Void when people had this thing where they were like, we really believe that was a mistake. And they pushed for it. They ran a bunch of tournaments. You can go on the Wardy YouTube channel and you can search, like, it was called the OG6, I think, or something. And there was a bunch of top Koreans playing 6 worker starts in Legacy of the Void. Terrible. Because you literally just go back to having these early games where nothing freaking happens. A lot of the people say it's like increased build variety, but I think the difference of that is people don't want to accept that build variety exists because they can't see the difference of the build variety right now. Like, what doesn't exist is glaringly obvious build variety of like, hey, if someone goes 11-11, that's super committed. You can see the SCV count is terrible, you know? But you can still proxy racks, you know? And then, like, you know, people say you can do so many more of these builds. Like, you can, but StarCraft already has a crap ton of build variety. It's just a little bit more niche, and it's a little bit more minute being able to see it. Because, yes, there's a lot of economy going in, but that doesn't mean that taking your gas one supply earlier doesn't change your build and change your timing, you know? So yeah, no, I'm against this in every way. I think any positive is heavily outweighed by the negatives, personally. So, yeah. You guys agree? Cool. I don't have to argue it any further then. Rogue bottom left, Nikoract upper right as we get started in game 1 of our final best of 3 of the day, guys. Is Rogue playing well, or did he get an easy group? I think he's playing well. I was actually very impressed with that longer game against Gerald, and honestly, ShoWTimE is absolutely no pushover at all, so I think Rogue's played well today. At the end of the day, you can also only play to your opponents, and I think he's obviously like 2-0-2-0. Yeah, Gerald is really strong right now. I actually think Gerald's playing great lately. You look at Gerald's results in online cups and stuff, he's taking down a lot of good players very constantly. And then ShoWTimE is always really good. Like, ShoWTimE can absolutely be one of the very best on any given day, so yeah. It's a good point on the build variety. Yeah, because I actually originally used to agree with the build variety being more on less workers. But it's just not true. It's just more niche. And I noticed this myself. The thing is as the average viewer, you will see less build variety. And I am very similar to this, right? Because I also, like, you know, when, for example, when we cast with ShoWTimE, ShoWTimE has the, oh my goodness, he's built this gas in this order instead of that order. Or with Lambo, right? These guys can pick up on so many small parts of the game, and they can be like, well, that affects this, and this affects that, right? So these things exist. Like, these things exist, like the timing of the hatchery, the order of the drone going to build the gas or not. You know what I mean? Like, these things exist, and they actually have big impacts, because for someone like at that top level, they can be like, right, well, that is going to identify that this is that or that is this, and, you know, this allows you to do this 5 seconds sooner because he's afraid of playing, you know, against an aggressive, you know, build maybe from this guy. The build variety is there. It's just so much more niche than, like, what things were in the past, which were, like, from, you know, your average viewer perspective, and from my perspective too, like, it was much more obvious, like, oh, he's taking his gas early here, so you can kind of know he wants to tech hard, and maybe he wants to be a bit, you know, I think that stuff used to be legitimately a lot more, I think that stuff used to be a lot more noticeable. But then I sit and think about it, I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just here to watch the games, you know? Like, I think that it's, you know, cast with ShoWTimE and Lambo is really cool, and hearing these things are really cool. But you know, and if I wanted to, I could go out and, you know, study all these things and learn them myself. But to me, I enjoy watching the grand strategy and the grand kind of talking of the games. To me, I don't even think that this build variety stuff is all that important. So, yeah. There's not really much build variety you get. I think it more so just recreates the aspect of, like, a one base all in and stuff, or like the proxies. Like, yeah, like I said, I kind of agree. I just think it's a discussion point. I think it's a fun discussion point, but you will never convince me to be pro lower worker starts or anything, you know? There's just no way. I just could never get behind it. I casted way too many games. I mean, my ongoing dislike of PvZ early game stems from the fact that I casted years upon years of PvZ early game where you have to do nothing for 6 minutes. And the reality is modern day PvZ is kind of boring anyway for 3 minutes, right? And now, if you change that to be kind of on a lower worker start, it's then going to go back to just being nothing for 6 minutes. And this is why you guys will always hear me when I'm casting. I'm always like, well, it's PvZ, guys, nothing's going on. And this is probably not true all the time. It's just my inherent bias of this matchup where nothing happens for so long. And I think that matchup goes straight back to nothing happens for like 7 minutes. Unless, like, the Oracle goes wild or the first 2 Adepts get crazy. Yeah. You're just putting so much more pressure on the early units doing something to make the early game interesting. But as people get better at the game, less exciting stuff happens in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Because people are really good at making sure they don't die to 2 Adepts, you know? So, yeah. Lower worker start, but workers mine twice as fast. What does that change? That just means you scale more quickly as you add more workers, no? That just means, like, late game you have giga economy is the problem. Don't 4-player maps achieve a similar goal as the less worker start with less commitment? What, by slowing the game down a bit? Because you don't know where your opponent is at? Maybe. 4-player maps just have a lot of their own issues as well, though, is the problem. You'll also never catch me... I don't like to hate on 4-player maps, because I love the concept. I'm just still yet to see a 4-player map that wouldn't be better as a 2-player map. 9 times out of 10, you know? The aggression becomes more relevant because you can't scout as well. Yeah. But yeah, I think the thing with higher worker starts against aggression is that you just have more eco to be able to pull off a defense while committing to an expansion, right? Like, a lot of the time nowadays, you can expand and have the economy to still defend in a big attack. So, yeah, those things are a lot less thingy. Thoughts on giving bases more minerals and the higher mineral counts, they last longer? Nope. I think expanding is good. Forcing expansions is good. The entire reason that these mineral patches are set up the way they are now is because their bases before had more minerals on them in the first place. And so people did not have to expand as quickly, so you just sit on 2 and 3 bases forever. Like, there's already a thing of just, you know, Terran sitting on 4 bases for a very long time against, you know, Protoss, for example, or Zerg, honestly. Like, you just encourage gameplay like that by giving bases more resources, which I don't think is a good thing. Roach Burrow from Rogue. Sorry, let's actually talk about this game, guys. I'm just going to be seeing the Cyclones. I mean, so this is mech against, like, some Roach Burrow shenanigans. This honestly seems pretty good for Nikoract. I mean, these Cyclones can keep trading pretty well here. Should be kind of fine for a little bit. SCVs have to pull in. Again, the Burrow is annoying because it breaks the Cyclone lock-on if you don't have vision, so you're basically forced to consistently have a scan available. Otherwise, this becomes a little awkward. Because Rogue just have too many roaches. I mean, obviously, he's been very aggressive quickly, which is sometimes the big downfall of mech. Getting enough up defensively early on. The Cyclones can trade well here, but can they trade well enough? No, Nikoract is going to fall over and unfortunately die. And GG is going to be called. We're talking about lack of build variety when it's about detailing claws all in. It's just crazy stuff. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I got too caught up in the chat conversation. That was actually kind of a cool game, and I kind of just washed over it because I'm reading chat and you guys are responding. You should watch this. Is one of the moments where someone in chat should actually shout that, you know, talk about the game instead of, you know, getting yelled at to talk about the game with the same build we cast 100 times. This could have been a talk about the game moment, you know. It's my fault. It's not your fault. No, it's a good question. I like chat interaction. It was just unfortunate the way it turned out. I should have just seen what was going on a bit sooner, to be honest. When Dark comes back, he'll show what true build variety looks like. Yeah, I like it. 3-player maps are interesting. Yeah, I actually kind of like 3-player maps. I think 3-player maps. The only issue I have with 3-player maps is 3-player maps can be a little bit like very advantageous based on spawns. Like, what was the 3-player map we had two map pools ago? The one that was broken on one of the spawns because of the mineral layout. Can't remember. Oh, someone remind me. A map like Mothership does Last Fantasy. Yeah, Last Fantasy was really bad because Last Fantasy was a really bad offender of the big issue of 3-player maps, which is that if you spawn top right to top left, the top left guy could be really screwed based on the matchup. And then bottom could be really good against top. Because depending on what race you're playing, some races want to push at the front really easy, and certain races want to siege your main really easy, you know? So that map was really bad for it, and that was really sad, because that map came from a group of 3-player maps in the TLMC that season that were actually pretty good. They were much better renditions of 3-player maps. I actually think Mothership is the best 3-player map we've had in a long time, because it has the 3-player aspect, and it's large enough and macro enough that you don't really have that. Like, I don't feel like anyone goes into Mothership and is like, oh god, I've got the bottom spawn and the Terran's top right, and he's going to be able to, like, push me in this certain way that makes my life difficult, you know? I actually think Mothership really nailed it as a 3-player map to... And maybe it takes away some of the 3-player map element of it, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. To me, it's been the most successful 3-player map in a long time. It gets played a lot. It doesn't get played just because players want to play something a bit different, which is actually was a lot of the time the case with Last Fantasy. Players were like, go on then. So yeah. I'm very for 3-player maps, because the difference with 3-player maps, more than anything else, and especially in a map pool where we have 9 maps, and you can veto it if you just don't want to take the RNG gamble on it. But I think the big thing about 3-player maps is that you can absolutely just have different games play out based on the spawns, but you don't have boring elements on 3-player maps. The issue with 4-player maps is that, for example, take a cross-spawn 4-player map. Every single time you see a cross-spawn 4-player map, the bases in the corners where players don't spawn are just so uninteresting, and like that entire aspect and layout of the map is just so much more boring because it's forced to be symmetrical with the other bases. Then you take like horizontal or cross spawns, and you could basically just have like a map like Blackburn or something, but the top of the map is boring, or the left of the map is boring, you know? Like we have maps that utilize the layouts that 4-player maps create in much more interesting ways. The only cool part about it being a 4-player map is you don't know if it's going to be a left versus right game or top versus bottom game. And to me, that's just not worth losing the interesting map variety and the interesting map design that could be in those positions of the map anyway, you know? So I'm actually much more for 3-player maps than I am 4-player maps, because I just don't ever get convinced that a 4-player map wouldn't just be better as a 2-player map with more interesting base design on the bases that aren't being spawned into. Alright, hatchery comes down here. Here's going to be this forward hatch. This has been a big thing lately. Rogue has been loving this. He got stomped by Q when he did this the other day, though. We get the bunker up pretty early here as Nikoract. That means he can get Marines onto the low ground safely. If he loses this bunker and the Marines on the low ground then get caught in a surround, that can be very scary, because then you lose a lot of units very quickly. Obviously, as Rogue here, you're kind of slowing Nicoract's progress down. But what's really interesting from Nikoract is he has not built an expansion. So he's going to go 2-1-1 off of one base, while Rogue is not overcommitting to this hatchery or anything either. It's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out, because all of a sudden you're going to have a very committed Terran player against a Zerg who might feel like they've just slowed the Terran down. If Rogue isn't ready for the timing of the, the Marines and the medevacs here, this could be very, very, very rough for him. At the same time, Nicoract is going to have to go, overdrive mode to make sure he sets up behind this comfortably, because realistically, his expansion is very late. So if he does nothing at all, he's in trouble. Now, if you can keep Rogue on 2 bases, so okay, I love the Rotron from Rogue. I think the Rotron keeps you much safer here a lot of the time. Yeah, I think the Rotron keeps you much safer here. There's a few drones, queens coming about. Just going to see the medevacs and the Marines coming up. Stim on the way. At least we don't have maps with islands anymore. I was wondering, what would a map with an island be like that had super minimal build space? So that you could, expand and maybe, build, a Nidus or so there, or, a little bit of static defense, but you couldn't just surround it with, turrets, you know? Because I feel like we're in a state of StarCraft 2 where every race has more access than ever before to, ways to, drop and stuff. Dropper Lords are very useful in Zerg matchups, Prisms are very prevalent, Medevacs are very prevalent. I feel like more than ever before, we've got this possibility or this potential for island bases to maybe be something of a thing without the matches just being miserable. I'd like to see that explored a bit in a TLMC sometime, maybe. These medevacs, it's going to be setting up here. Just going to be seeing the queens are going to be in position. A few Marines into the center, going to be unloading. Overlord goes down. Stemming through Rogue supply block. That is not a good sign. He's got a few roaches coming up, but if he doesn't have enough roaches and they just die quickly, then that's a big issue. You can see, obviously, the queens are going to try and help out a little bit here. Nicoract turns back to the left side, gets another roach, gets another one. Drones pulling in. We get another queen. Big damage being done from Nicoract right now. Another roach spawns out. Like I say, I love the roaches. I think the roaches were the right idea. Getting supply block just as this attack arrived was not great, because those 5 or 6 roaches currently on the way should have already been out, and that would have minimized some of the losses to make this a lot more manageable as Rogue. Behind this, Nicoract's command center is about to be done, and like I said, for me, for Nikoract, for this to be successful, he needed to deny a 3rd base, and there's no 3rd hatchery. So this being 2 base versus essentially 2 base in a second, to me this is fine, because the expansion rate of the game is very much so in line with what you want it to be as the Terran player, even though your expansion is late. And obviously dealing damage we just dealt as Nicoract was great, and we're going to be able to kind of put Rogue in this weird position where Nicoract's going to keep putting the pressure on. So you build more Roach Ravage. I think Rogue kind of wants to just send this, in which case the siege tank that Nicoract is currently building is going to be massively useful. It means those medevacs gather about the Roach Ravager joining at the front. A couple of roaches settling here. And Carapace upgrade will start through. The Roach speed is going to finish in a few moments as well. Marines and the medevacs around that left-hand side again. Roach speed finishing up in a couple of seconds. Let's see those medevacs load. Those Marines just going to take them around over to the right side. Tank, Marines, and a medevac still building. Still settling for now. Roach Ravager. Positioning for a second. I'm just going to have the, again, Carapace coming through, the Overseer and the few Ravagers still coming up. Take a couple of moments. The Marines will unload from the medevacs. T-Boat's coming into place. And, yeah, the extra Ravagers morphing in. The drones still building. Just seen the Marine tank coming back over. Big push from Nikoract heading down to the bottom side of the map here currently. Bringing that across. And this is a supply lead for Nikoract. Big push coming over. Rogue trying to take a third hatchery on a Roach Ravager defense. If these couple of tanks get set up in a good place, the Ravagers can't reach them easily. This feels, I mean, there's 3 siege tanks here. It already feels pretty darn good. As you are going to see, those Marines just going to step to the side. Waited to stim, then kind of stimmed last second to kind of dodge a bit. Like I say, let's see what these tanks can do. Spreading them out is important. Slowly bringing them forward. A couple of Ravagers in the front going to probably get cancelled. Careful of those bars. We don't want to be eating them. Gets one cancel on one of those morphing Ravagers, which is nice. Like I say, if these Roaches step forward into these tanks, they're going to be in a bad time, and they're just positioned well. Like I say, the Ravagers cannot bile those tanks from afar. They got to get up close and personal, and these Marines are putting the work in. This hatchery's about to drop. Again, denying the third hatchery is probably more than enough already here from Nikoract. A few more corrosive biles coming in. Just going to finally get rid of some of these tanks, so the tanks will finally start to drop. It's just so necessary, right? Like, these tanks have been so annoying. We didn't kill the hatchery yet, by the way. I said that was going to go down. I think it still is, and it does now. We actually have a Marauder showing up, which is really useful in this scenario. Good tank. Target fired the Roaches instead of hitting the Broodlings. It's really important because every tank shot into Roaches is going to hurt a lot. So that was a good little, you know, additional something there that really helps you in the right sort of direction. Tank sieging. Marines are still chasing up. A couple of Ravagers getting chased back as well. Maybe seeing the army still coming through. A couple of those creep tumors coming around also. Marine Marauder tank commencing to building. Again, Roach Ravager continuing in as this couple of tanks going to unsiege and go elsewhere. Nicoract is doing the right thing. He's keeping the pressure up, taking a third behind this. Like I say, Rogue without a third mining base means that Nicoract is not in a major rush to kind of get anywhere. What a shame. Oh, if we get corrosive bowels on the double tank in the back. Oh, what's Nicoract going to get? He's going to get overwhelmed on this fight. Okay, losing the tank count's rough because that really opens the door for Rogue to see a lot more success. I liked what Nicoract was doing, but this was not the fight. Two of the tanks never got sieged up properly. One of them too far forward. We weren't able to keep the Ravagers back, so the Bowels were extremely effective, and just the Roaches in general got very close very quickly there. A moment where you kind of see the swarmy nature of Roaches really benefiting them and really being the reason why they're able to win the fight. I don't think we can actually continue across here, though, to do much else. Tanks in position to them. Like, fights like this are always going to look bad for Rogue. It's the fights where he's able to catch Nikoract not quite sieged up with maybe not quite the reinforcements here. In this scenario, you just can't push further in. That does mean that Rogue gets the third hatchery up. So Rogue gets a benefit from this. The third hatchery gets to come online. We actually get to celebrate a third base that wasn't really active otherwise beforehand. Now we see 2 more barracks on the way from Nikoract. Again, 1 more upgrades being brought up as well. Marine Marauder tank will producing a Viking on the way as well here. Obviously, that third base can come down from Nikoract, so we've still delayed the third hatchery of Rogue for a super extended period of time in the grand scheme of things. Those couple of Ravagers still coming about. Drones coming through. And yeah, the Marine Marauder coming around as well. Siege tank will set up. Tank just going to come across for a moment. +1 missiles, +2 carapace all coming up. There's a few extra Roaches coming by. And this is going to be Nicoract going for another move out. The thing about Rogue's position is still just like his army still sucks. Like, it's still just Roach Ravager with nothing else really on the way. I like a couple Contaminators to slow down the engineering base. Unfortunately, he's hitting the armor upgrade. So the more important attack upgrade is going to get to finish here on the side of Nicoract. So we will get that wrapped up. Another scan comes down. We take another look at that Roach Ravager army just to take a peek at what's going on. Yeah, big force move out. And we leave the tanks at home. This is fine as well, because eventually you're going to make a bigger push with the tanks, but for now you're just going to come with the Bioforce that can lift up into the medevacs and retreat away as necessary. Four corrosive vials. Dropping in bio. Yeah, like I say, it's just a scenario where you poke about, see what you can do, try and keep track of things, then just you lift up. We're actually going to start dropping around because there's still not a lot of anti-air. This is going to be an awkward fight. None of the tanks are sieged up. The Ravager's being kind of caught on the right-hand side. Nikoract also has to defend his army over here at the same time. He's going to land the Viking. Okay, this is just really wild. Not a single tank ever got sieged, which I understand because it was obviously a very drawn-out fight that came out of nowhere. Problem is now you just lost all of your siege tanks. And the drop play did okay. 15 drones have died. Is it enough to justify the fight on the right side of the map going as badly as it did? Rogue is not in a good long-term position. He is in a good short-term position if he can break through. And with only one tank available, this feels more possible than it did a few moments ago. Nikoract bringing the medevacs back home. He's recognizing all he needs to do is find a defense here. Can he get enough bio on the ground and into this fight to actually make this work? Pulls in a few SCVs, anything to tank, because all he has to do is live. And his army is still going to be fine. Again, long-term, he can lose 15 SCVs, and he's still okay in the eco of this game. Ravager's being targeted down. A couple of Roaches being busied up by the Marauders. Does Rogue just keep on pushing through? A tank needs to siege right there. Don't step further forward. The further this tank comes, the more scared I get. But honestly, it's actually looking as though it might be fine. Nikoract is going to be able to fend this off. These Roaches do have to go the other way. And that is going to be a defense from Nikoract in the end. Like I say, got a bit scary. Had to pull some SCVs. He scans the 4th, sees no mining. So Nikoract is like, okay. Because for Nikoract, it's a very weird position. You probably do not really know where the game is at. His 2-2 upgrades on the way, not kicking in just yet. Obviously, Rogue does have a carapace upgrade advantage in this game. But Nikoract trying to read that 4th base, seeing no mine will make him feel a lot better. Because if that 4th base is fully saturated, you're like, oh crap. You've got so much stuff, and I am like on the verge of just falling apart here. Doesn't see this army, which means he's out of position again. Tank and Siege just trying to get ready to move out onto the map. Unfortunately, backfires. Going to pull the SCVs in for a few moments as... Again, it's kind of weird. It's enough for a Ravager that the bio alone is not doing super great, especially because of the +2 carapace. Just keeping that army alive a little longer than it would have been otherwise. And bio army regrouping back around. Still supplies I like a lot for Nikoract. Just needs to find a way to clean these Roaches and Ravagers out. Losing a lot of the SCVs will bring Rogue back into the economy phase of this game, though, so that's going to be a big plus for him. Actually forcing the 3rd base to lift up from Nikoract. I tell you what though, 2-2 should surely do wonders for Nikoract here. 2-2 bio is going to trade so much better against this Roach Ravager. Couple corrosive bars going to scatter. Do not get the tank. Goes low but doesn't go down. It's so funny because it feels like there's just a moment where there's suddenly just enough bio, and so all, you know, the next thing you know, this army looks as though how could it ever have been losing a fight to this Roach Ravager, and it just stomps through, and that's exactly what happens here. We did get some good biles down onto the medevacs. Nikoract did not dodge all of those biles, so medevacs getting kind of reduced a little bit. That's super crazy though overall, I don't think. I'm just going to see the bio medevac tank force still pushing over to the right for a few more moments. Just going to see the Roach is going to take a second stop up and knock on the rocks for a couple seconds, try and break through that position. But realistically, this is just going to be Nikoract having too much. Kind of a wild back and forth game in the end, but Nikoract, to me, was in a position that should always go very well for you. Rogue did find some fights in some positions that made it tougher, and to nearly bring him back through, 2-2 really made a big difference at the end as well. Like I say, 2-2, get enough bio up, and Rogue obviously, again, didn't have the economy for this game to go on, so every time that Nikoract took a lot of damage but didn't quite die and survived, became worse for Rogue because he was not set up to play a longer and longer game with a very, very, heavily hit economy, essentially. So yeah. GG's Winter Madness is going to come in as a Game 3 of this one. Central West Central for Game 3. And we go to a final map. Yeah, what's on the line in this game then? Like I say, for Nikoract, I'm pretty sure he's going to finish 4th no matter what. I don't think he can get away from that. So ShoWTimE will be 3rd, and Nikoract will be 4th. And I think Rogue always finishes 1st because his map score is so good even if he loses this series. So this is actually, I didn't even realize it, but this is actually probably one of the most pointless series you'll see in a round robin. I actually don't think any result here changes things. But still cool. You guys giving us some good games. Obviously, sometimes with the round robin, the final match can be less important. We do what we can to try and make it important. You know, seeding difference between first and second place, third and fourth place, a prize money difference. So there's, you know, we're trying to always make it worthwhile for the players to play this last match. This is one of those scenarios where I actually don't think any certain score does anything. The other players are giving us some cool games anyways. They appreciate the tournaments. They don't mind trying hard for an extra game to make sure they play all their games out properly. And also, they don't always stop and do the math and figure out exactly what it is, so you're going to play to win. There's never a reason not to win, right? If nothing else, there are Nikoract points on the line. As we kick this into the top left-hand side of the map, our blue Terran player will be Nikoract, tying this up 1-1. As in the bottom right, our red Zerg player is going to be Rogue. Why use round robin then? Because it's not very often that the final match comes down to being pointless. This is one of the rare occasions where it does, especially when we make it so that every single different placing has impact. Usually it does. This is just one of those cases where Rogue is so far ahead and Nikoract is so far behind, and it just so happens that these are the two players that play last, that actually, yes, whatever result happens here does not affect Nikoract being able to, you know, move up, and it doesn't affect Rogue being able to move down. So, and round robin's nice because we get 6 best of 3s instead of 5. So instead of watching, GSL groups can be fun, but like I also hate it when we get the rematch in GSL groups, because then not only are we only getting 5 best of 3s, but you're watching one of the best of 3s twice, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just less fun on the day. 6 different best of 3s to me is much better and more interesting than 4 best of 3s. Well, 5 best of 3s and one of them maybe even a repeat, so yeah. And like I say, like it is set up so that a lot of the time this is not the case of like the last match. I'm just, you know, which is why I'm being transparent here. This match really does actually not have any meaning. You know, this match does not have any meaning realistically in this group. But I'm very happy being transparent about that because that is very rarely the case. You know, if this was a flaw of the tournament that happened really frequently, I'd be like, don't notice it, guys. I'm not going to mention it. Please don't pay attention to the flawed format. So, yeah. Don't like the rematches either. I think it's just, it sucks when you have like a group and it's like, man, I can't wait for these guys to play each other. It's like, oh, they never end up in the same match as each other either. And yeah, I don't know. I moved away from 4-player round robin for a while. It's something we have to utilize more in a scene that's a little bit depleted compared to what it used to be. We kind of have to use 4-player round robin a little bit again now because it's really difficult to get enough players all the time to run like 5-player round robin. Especially when we're seeding players like deeper into the tournament already. So yeah, it's either GSL groups or 4-player round robin. Like I say, 6 BO3 better than 5 BO3, you know. Well, this proxy hatch is going on. I have not mentioned it because I'm hoping that you guys have eyes, but you know, just in case you're not watching the screen, there's a proxy hatch from Rogue. And he's actually got a queen up. Ling's hitting the reactor, so it's actually getting a little nasty. Nikoract doesn't have the low ground bunker like he did in the last game. The reactor is going to die just as it finishes, and Rogue actually built a spine crawler too. And because the depot was lowered here for whatever reason, this spine crawler is going to waltz in and siege up the production line of Nikoract, and I think Nikoract might just be dead. This is pretty dismal, unfortunately, for our Terran player, it feels like. This is pretty dismal. This does not look great. I did a lot of yapping when cool things were happening today. Rogue played a lot of interesting games. I just keep yapping through the early game. This is going to be a few SCVs pulled in. Nikoract trying to survive, gets a lock onto the queen with the cyclone, which is one of the better things, but you still have the spine to deal with. Like I say, anything popping out of the barracks is dying to the spine crawl almost instantly. And Rogue is just going to come through a little bit too powerfully in this match and is going to get himself the W. Rogue is going to send him through 2-1 for a perfect group, apart from one map loss against Nikoract here. He gets that 3-0, and like I say, we'll just guarantee the high seed. Like I said, this was not really going to be impacted if he lost, but just guarantees it and gets the 3-0. Keeps his Nikoract points healthy as well. All right. Proxy hatch powerful, man. Gives you a lot of options, doesn't it? It's kind of a cool one. Well, guys, a little bit of a quick end at the very end of that, but that's going to be GG's. Before we go, I just want to make one more reminder that the WardiTV merch store has been updated. We have got new merch available. If you ! merch into the chat, you can check it out. I'm going to bring it up on screen here in just a second. But yeah, new merch available for the first time in a while, and all of the proceeds, anything that we get from the merch store, will go directly into prize money for the WardiTV 2026 series. So you can check that out if you want to. There's a bunch of different t-shirts. There's the WardiTV hoodie, which you can see me wearing right now as well. I have a webcam here. Yep, WardiTV hoodie. It's very nice, very cozy. You've probably seen me wearing these in the past few weeks. I've had mine for about a month now, and I'm wearing the shit out of them because they're cool. So, so yeah, if you want to check them out, the merch link is in the chat. You can ! merch. Like I say, any proceeds, any profits go directly into the tournament prize pool of the WardiTV 2026 series. So you can check that out if you do so wish. When will these replays be online on the YouTube? We stream everything to YouTube now. So if you just want to look back on like YouTube VODs, like the full stream is available on YouTube. Just go to the live section. All of our streams go on YouTube. Pretty much, unless we have like internet issues or something, everything goes on YouTube nowadays. So while we do upload like one match per day specifically, you can watch through everything on YouTube if you want to. Just go to the live archive section. I can show you guys how to do that if you want. As well, we may as well come back over here. So you go to WardiTV on YouTube. First of all, if you're not already subscribed, you click the subscribe button. It's probably around here somewhere. But if you just go to this live section, all of our live streams are archived here, so you can just go back through and watch absolutely anything you want. So yeah, you can just go back and watch every single live stream. So yeah, super great if you want to go back and watch stuff. Yeah, super useful. It's actually really nice having all of our VODs just like archived. Like it's it's great, honestly. Like it's amazing. Like it's actually crazy when you look back. Is like you see how much stuff we've streamed. And you're like, oh my god, there is hours upon hours upon hours of StarCraft to go back and watch. Like these days were amazing. The 2025 championship stuff, Christmas Day games as well were amazing. Like you can just go back and watch a crap ton of StarCraft. So yeah, all of that's available if you want to just go through. Love the self glaze. It's just cool to see how much StarCraft we cast. No, like. It's neat, like having it all archived and stuff nowadays because we stream on YouTube. It's amazing. So I was talking to Loco about his 24/7 channel because I was thinking about doing a WardiTV 24/7 channel not long ago. So I asked Loco how he did it, because my issue would be that all of my stuff that I would play is like archived on YouTube. And Loco, apparently, he actually just has all of his videos since 2012 still saved, so it's a bit easier for him. But I was thinking about doing like a 24/7 WardiTV channel as well. So yeah, I was thinking about it. I didn't know if it was worth it. It's kind of interesting seeing Locos and seeing the viewership. I was just thinking it's one of those things that if we run and we make like a couple $100 a month, it's like a bit more towards StarCraft, you know? Do I prefer powdered donuts or glazed? I think glazed. I don't know though. I think sugary donuts can be good sometimes. It kind of depends on the mood though. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Like I said, I already showed you guys what's coming up. Obviously, if you did enjoy, all the usual stuff. Follow, get on that YouTube, like and subscribe. Please do. Especially do the subscribing on the YouTube, guys. We are getting close towards 50,000 YouTube subs. It would be amazing to reach that, so check that out. Like I said, I just talked about the merch. Super important as well, Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. 100% of anything on Patreon goes into tournament prize pools. That is really how we fund these tournaments. That is the baseline of the funding for the spring championship and tournaments like this. So check that out as well. Patreon.com/WardiTV. Super important. And yeah, that's about it. What's up, McCrazy? Thank you so much for the 30-month resub on the Prime. Obviously, you can Prime sub as well. McCrazy going to do my job for me there, make it easy to talk about. Prime sub as well. All the support, whatever you do, it all helps. I mean, obviously, just coming back and watching is number one, though. Come back, watch some more StarCraft 2. We'll be back tomorrow with Group B. And then over the weekend, you got to tune in. The seeding groups over the weekend are going to be awesome. We've obviously got a lot of great players over the weekend. Like I say, Group A on Saturday is Hero, Zaun, Bjorn, and Classic. And then Group B on Sunday, Shin, Solar, MaxPax, and Clem. That is some juicy StarCraft 2, guys. So make sure you come back and drop by and hang out with us over the weekend for more StarCraft as well. And obviously, WardiTV Mondays on Monday. We have got... I'm not off. I'll be off again next Wednesday, but we basically have 6 days of StarCraft 2 straight coming at you. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you, Resonate SET, for the 3 years on the Prime. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Congrats to the players and playing today with some fun games. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Group B of the WardiTV Spring Championship 2026. But not before I say thank you to Schmacker on the 22-month resub on the Prime. See? A little Prime train at the end of the stream, guys. A little Prime train at the end of the stream. How lovely. How lovely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Any more for any more before I actually sign out? Every time I try and say GG's right now, someone else hits that Prime button. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to tell you to stop, but final chance. The end screen is coming. I will run some ads on the outro, by the way, guys. Once the ads are done, we'll host someone up, so we'll spread that StarCraft love. So obviously stick around if you want to support someone else. Oh, a hype train is coming. Someone else subbed. Where is it? Mao Inc. on the Prime sub as well. We're just going to have a cheeky end of stream hype train. Is that what we're doing right now? Cheeky little end of stream hype train. Now I feel compelled to sit here for the next 2.5 minutes to see if it hype trains or not. So I guess I will sit here while the ads play. Thank you so much for the Prime sub, Mao Inc. I appreciate it. Like I say, all of it helps. I guess they were just trying to run more and more and more StarCraft. So appreciate every step of the way. Thank you so much. Thank you. Razorback OTP, thank you for the 100 bits. That starts the hype train as well. Whoa. The hype train at the end of this. You guys are so excited for me to leave. You started a hype train. Appreciate it, guys. That or you knew it would keep me here, I suppose. You know, one way or the other. I guess we appreciate it. Oh, well, you guys can watch me as I live decide who we're going to host. Probably a laser, I guess. Would make sense. Yeah, I guess we'll host a laser. Cool. Yeah, we'll host a laser playing some games. Once we, I guess once the hype train ends, I suppose. Maybe, possibly. What's my YouTube video for today as well? I think it's a good one. I think it's, oh yes. Clem versus MaxPax. Beautiful. So it's Clem MaxPax grand final of the Team Liquid Map Contest tournament today. So that will be on the YouTube in a couple hours. That is what I'm going to go start making a thumbnail for. Dolls with the 200 bits as well. Ho, ho, ho. The support is flying in. Do we have any more for any more on the subs, guys? We have 1 minute and 20 seconds till the ads are over, and I am compelled to shut this down. What was a good Clem MaxPax map in the finals? Thingy. Oh, this map, we haven't... Yeah, let's use this map. Only 30k more to go for your next cheer badge. Holy. That's a lot. Man, cheers and bits are something that gets so underutilized nowadays. Kind of crazy. I remember when we used to get like 10,000. We didn't get 10,000 bit cheers a lot, don't get me wrong, but like we used to get like, you know, every now and like every couple months it would happen. I don't even know the last time we saw something like that. I actually remember, sorry, the StarCraft sounds is because I'm making a thumbnail. I actually remember one of the coolest things when I look back at old VODs, I see the bit boss. You know, it used to be this little thing with health bar, and whoever basically cheered when you cheered bits, it would do damage to the health bar. And so if you cheered bits, you could become the bit boss, right? And so your name would be on the screen, you'd have a health bar, and then when someone cheered, it would do damage to you. That thing was always really fun. Like, this was really fun for like the first year that bits came out, basically, and then it became a whole lot less exciting because it just became a bit too constant. People got a bit bored of it and stuff, but yeah, it was very cool. Oh, I picked a terrible game to try and make a thumbnail of. No. Okay, still got the cool bright colors though. All right, Ads are done. We're done, I think, guys. I'm going to turn YouTube off at least. Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube. And we will be done on Twitch as well. I think, guys, we got a minute. I